Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. And a fine lawn maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. Well, if you got it done early, that is. Damn it, man. Getting to be that old, angry Floridian, bitching about the rain and the heat. Online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. But if you do miss something, just know we've got you covered. All 3 hours to be posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email me as well, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameron Show, and the WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. You know, I think it's part of the age we live in. I talked about this before, but every day at this time at 3 o'clock, I get a phone call from an 800 number. And I've always got my phone on vibrate here, so you don't have to worry about it.
Not a 900 number.
No, it's an 800 number. And do they still have 900 numbers?
I don't know. I would think there are countries in the world that would still call a 900 number.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm saying, I know what you're referencing, but I'm saying there's not any 900 number to hear some pretty lady talking to you dirty, is there? Like, that doesn't happen anymore, does it? That's not a thing anymore, right? You wouldn't need that. I mean, we live in a world where, you know, the internet. I'm saying
internet kill the 900
right.
line.
I would think that happened. Exactly, right? There's no way. Those ads used to be just omnipresent on your television. You'd throw on something and you're like, oh, here we go, another one of these ads.
Exactly.
Right? But
yeah.
I haven't seen one in years.
It was like for that, Miss Cleo, and then recruiting updates back in the day with War Chant,
God,
right?
Yeah, I forgot about that. You don't need those anymore either, right? But yeah, everything. Well, see, here's what happens. Because we tend to order things now online so often, you know, you go, what Amazon or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
I think that obviously your information just gets shared. We have no illusions anymore that our number is not out there or that people don't know things about us. I mean, all of your privacy is gone. It's shot. Anybody can find out anything they want. And so I get the fact that my number, if I order a new pair of shoes online and, you know, I provide them an email or whatever, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to get advertisements every day for a year from somebody, and I'm sure that information was shared by the company that I purchased the shoes from.
Yeah, right now on every computer I use or smartphone, tablet, there's Ryder Cup stuff because I want to buy.
Because they know.
Do you know how expensive that stuff is?
What, a Ryder Cup shirt or
it's
hat?
It's absurd. Yes. Like if you want a nice Ryder Cup, you know, the pullover or the shirt, we were looking at some of the, you know, quarter pullovers, quarter inch.
Out of control.
$250, $150, $250. It's insane.
Well, they can go to hell with that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, man.
It's almost like they don't want to sell it.
I'm at a stage in my life where I want what I want, I know what I like, and I'm willing to spend for it. But I've whittled a lot of things down. When you're young, you want everything because you have nothing, because you're broke. When you get a little bit older and you've experienced some things and you've traveled and you've been places, right?
That is a great line for a motivational speaker. When you're young, you want everything.
Because you have nothing.
Because you got nothing.
Because you got nothing. You're hungry. But after a while, you know, you experience things and you have an opportunity to go to different places and you find out what it is in life that, obviously, without getting sappy, is important to you. And most of those things don't involve material items. They're not shoes or they're not hats or they're what. But the things you do want in your life are very specific. Now, obviously, it starts with the people you love. But then if we are talking about things, of which we probably all, and myself included, have too many, you get very specific about, like, I like a certain kind of Bose sound system. I like this particular sound system.
That's a good one.
Right. Okay, so I'm willing to spend a little bit more on the sound systems in my car. Kraft Nissan has provided me the full package, of course.
Yeah, of course they have.
Yes. But now I get a really nice sound system both in my house and in my car and really anywhere I want it. And I'm willing to spend a little bit more. So I'm very specific. And I'm that way about a lot of things. And anyhow, once you do that one or two times, you're done. You're done. And especially if you order it online. If you get some specialty item, man, your phone's just blowing up left and right. But here's what I don't get. most of us pay our bills online these days. Most of us do it's automatic, right? It's either automatic, prepay, whatever it might be. Boom, rolls over. You don't even think about it. I do that for every bill I have except for maybe one or two. And one of them is a big one. One of them is I don't have it set up on a loop at all times for my mortgage. Now, I pay the mortgage within the same 3-day range, have for 7-8 years, the same 3-day range. But there's a reason, and I don't need to get into all that. It doesn't matter. There's a reason that I don't have it on automatic, boom, boom, boom. But it's the same. If you look at my record, it's the same every time for at least, I think, almost 8 years. If that day comes and goes, and you have, well, at least the way I have it set up, you have until like the 15th.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you go, like, if it's the 4th, phone starts blowing up. I'm like, people, it's not like I'm a deadbeat. I've paid this thing for 8 years running exactly within this 3-day span of the 1st or the 4th every time. Why are you calling me? That drives me nuts. That has to be set up. There's some sort of computer just going, call his ass. It's the 4th, dude. It's
well, maybe the algorithms say that if you get to the 4th, then you're more likely to get to the 5th unless we call you. At which point you pay.
No, but it drives me batty. But there's somebody, and I don't know who it is because I've never answered it, that every day at 3 o'clock when we start the show, if for some reason I was halfway down the hall, not prepared to do the show, I was in a conversation or something, I wouldn't have to worry about you yelling down the hall or cranking the who or texting me because the damn phone would be buzzing from this 800 number that whoever it is every day for years at 3 o'clock. And people say, well, pick it up. No, it's a war now. I'm not picking it up. You can leave a message. They've never left a message. Not one time.
It's your Valley Forge.
This is it, man. I'm not having it. And I refuse. It's been a long time now. I'm not answering it. They're going to someday leave a message. It's going to be a glorious moment when it happens. When I break the computer, when I break the bot.
Yeah, it's a bot. Yeah, definitely.
I know it's a bot.
A person would have given up by now.
Oh, Jesus, you think? But I'm going to break the bot. It's going to happen. One day, somehow, somebody's going to go, this bot has been calling this guy for 8 years, and he's never answered, and we've never left a message. Let's just have some fun with it today. Let's have a real human call the number. No, I'm holding out too much hope. Not going to happen.
They forgot about it. That business is closed 10 years ago.
Yes, but the bot is still.
But the bot is kicking.
Oh, we got to call that Cameron guy, Tallahassee. Let him know all that he's missing out on. It's a great trip, Myrtle Beach. Pick up the phone, sir, please. We desperately want to send you to Myrtle Beach for the low, low price of $154, but he won't answer. It's Myrtle Beach, for Christ's sakes. I can just picture the bots in their own world yelling at each other. This guy, he's unbelievable. We can't break him. The business I work for is closed. It's been closed for years. I call this sap every day, and he will not do it. That'll be fun.
He's as lifeless and consistent as me or Saban.
Yeah, that's right. He has decided it's not happening. He's breaking it down. All right. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for listening. We'll get to a show here. I just thought I'd vent a little bit about this number every day.
You know what's funny is you definitely steered it to land in that place where you could complain about the 800 call.
How so? I don't know.
I think that was something you wanted to get off your chest.
I hadn't planned it. But as the music was playing, I saw my phone buzzing over here to the right, and I thought, man, you guys are unbelievable. You're never going to let it go. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is. If it were like a bill collector or somebody there was like this grievous harm done to them years ago, they would have taken another step by now. There would have been some sort of literature, right?
So you tested your conscience is what you're saying. Did I forget something? At some point when you were getting these calls every day.
Yes. Oh, you do. You vet it. You think to yourself, did I, I don't want to give an extreme, absurd example because not everybody gets my brand of sarcasm. And somebody's going, oh, Jesus. Somebody might not realize I'm joking.
Did I not return the video to the video store?
Well, that certainly happened. That certainly happened years back.
Well, the Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah, which no longer exists.
The regular video store.
Yes, of course, that video. No, you're always inferring something.
Well, no, that you just said absurd brand of humor, so
No. What I was talking about was like, I was jokingly thinking, like, am I guilty of a hit and run I don't know about and that I failed to, but no, I mean, there would have been legal proceedings. It's a joke.
I think mine's more PG-13.
It's a joke. Oh, they're practicing down at IMG. And you know what made me smile today? The same thing that made you smile today. It's not news that Florida State's down there. It's not news what happened down there today. There's nothing that came out of that camp today that you go, oh, we have an answer at quarterback, or, hey, things are looking great at this position or that position. Same old today, status quo. They practice well. Everything seems to be going peachy. But it made me smile just as it probably made you smile. If you follow, I think it was FSU online, the Twitter account.
Yeah, FSU_football.
Yeah. If you follow that, then you saw the video of Willie going out there in a great mood, kind of just a little pep in the step, dancing to music while the guys were stretching, and they're all singing along, and he's smiling and slapping guys on the back of the helmet as he goes out there. And, man, it's just so genuine. I can't say enough about how I enjoy looking at the results early on of what this staff's putting in place and what they're implementing in practice and what they're doing to get guys to care, invest, focus, effort, all those things. Now, again, I reiterate for the 1,000th time, I understand if you don't win games, none of it will really resonate all that much. Or certainly if you lose that first game at home to Virginia Tech, people will go, well, that's great. Everybody's in a good mood while we're losing. I get it. I understand how that works. But it is just such a drastic difference to see the kids' faces light up at the start of practice. And it's not this laborious, methodical, ridiculous, convoluted, frustrating thing to take in. It is this, okay, here we go. All right, we're getting better today. Everybody's feeling good. Let's go. If you're not, let's go. I got you. Time to report to work. And once a week, I see something. It's not always from Willie. Sometimes just from a player after a drill or a coach, an assistant coach, walking over, putting his arm around somebody, showing him technique. Could be anything. They're just signs, as there should be in year one. No question. There better be. I bet it's that way at Nebraska under Scott Frost, even if his teaching methods are dramatically different from what we're seeing here. I'm sure it's that way. I mean, I don't know Chip Kelly from Adam, and he doesn't strike me as a real fun guy, but I'm sure the UCLA guys are really excited that he's there because they've done nothing but suck for a long time. So the new thing is a good thing. I get it.
So maybe in College Station there's no yelling on the practice fields. And
I don't know if they're having fun, but they think that whatever it is they're being browbeaten with is going to make them better. I'm sure they're in, right?
Yeah,
they're
that's
all invested.
True. 100%.
So I get that, but it is fun to watch and to cover and to take in and to listen to. And there's a response, and it's visceral, and you watch these guys just, here we go. And it is exciting. Doesn't mean we're going to win all our games. Doesn't mean that we're going to win a national championship within 2 years. Doesn't even mean we're going to win 9-10 games this year. Just means that there's a very, very different way of going about practicing and getting better on a day-to-day basis that's on display, and it's fun to watch. That's what it means. I'm enjoying it. And, again, I would enjoy it a lot more if we got to see every period of every practice. I would enjoy it a lot more if we were sitting on the 50 watching a scrimmage and really deep diving and figuring out who's what and what position and who's going to be a superstar and who's going to be a weakness and how we're going to get around that. We're really not going to get that. The signs are good that the guys you think are good are practicing well, and the team is improving. That is true, just as we said yesterday. And the weaknesses that you're worried about, they're still in play, and nothing will change from that until we get into a game and we see them tested against elite-level competition, or at the very least, certainly somebody else on scholarship from another team. I mean, that's the kind of the problem you got here. You got a bit of a quandary with your offensive line because you're just not going to know. Tom and I were talking off the air before the start of the show about, look, I'm sure Brian Burns is going to be good. And he has been great so far in practice. Has kind of been the story of practice. Nobody can block him just yet. But again, I don't know how good our line is. So when Brian Burns goes against these other teams that have, top-tier offensive line prospects at the tackle position, will he be merely good and not superhuman as he's been up to this point?
Neither here nor there necessarily related to the discussion, but I do wonder when a new staff comes in, because you were just listing all the new staffs around the country, and the SEC has a bunch. And,
6.
Scott Frost, Kelly, Jimbo counts as one of those 6 in the SEC, even though A&M still feels like a Big 12 club.
Yep.
Here, I wonder if as a staff comes in when they talk to the players, the holdovers, the veterans, if they do ask them their opinions on things like, what worked when you were here? What was your favorite thing about workouts or practice or film? Was there something that, if you could see not change, because we're going to do things a lot differently here, but is there something that you think really resonated with you guys and worked? I wonder if coaching staffs that are incoming take some insights somehow from the staff that left. Now, for Willie, it's a lot easier because Odell is a holdover, and Willie got to work.
He got to work with the team.
See their bowl practices. But I wonder, we always talk about how much coaches learn from the head coaches they worked under or whatever it is along the way. Do they learn anything from the group that they're replacing, and do they keep some things in place?
Well, right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I would think so. There are certain things tried and true that all coaching staffs do that remain almost universal in football. And I think that's true across the board. But I think to get to your point, you would probably come in and ask your veteran players those exact. It's why it was so impressive what Brian Kelly did at Notre Dame. I know we bring this point up an awful lot. But to see somebody change how they act as a human being, for one thing, and realize they got to look inward, but also change the way they go about practice through interviews like the one you just described and wondered about. That's what he did. He brought back former players. He asked other coaches. He sat down with players that were veterans and those that had just graduated and asked them about what was it they hated, what was it they liked, what did they think we needed to do better to improve and to grow closer together. So, yeah, I think there's huge value in that. Why wouldn't you bring in a guy that has been here for 4 years and ask him, hey, I need to know, I want to get to, especially if it's a starter, a guy with some cachet, somebody that you've trusted, who's done it the right way, who's gone to class, who's been a responsible leader. You pull that guy aside, you identify that guy. Hey, he's done things the right way, even in the wake of some real frustrating moments and controversies. He's been steady as they go. I can trust him. And you'd ask him, what went wrong here in your eyes? What's your opinion about what happened here? I'm not asking you to dog the other coaches. I'm not asking you to give me a personal opinion on how you feel of, so-and-so the man. But what were you guys doing here in practice that you thought really was a waste of time, wasn't working out, wasn't the best use of practice time? What was it about the stuff that you did here that you thought, man, that really works? No matter where I go from this point forward, I'm going to incorporate that either as a football player or in my own life. Yeah, I think you would do that.
Well, we always, harp on the differences, and in some ways differences means positive and negative always,
Sure.
But I would think that even though there might be a completely different group that walked out the door as the new one comes in, and this is a perfect example of that here in Tallahassee, the philosophies are quite different.
Yeah.
There has to be some insight. Jimbo was wildly successful here, and perhaps it's a meeting with Odell. Okay, they're gone now. Coach, the door closed behind them.
Say what you want to say, yeah.
All the assistants are gone. Now it's just you and me. You're here. You're on staff. I mean, he did some serious work for Florida State, and when was it good? What was he doing? Because I want to take some of that insight and integrate it into my own program.
And I think that those guys, it's a close fraternity, and so you're going to be careful about what you say. But you could have an airing of the grievances, if you will, with the stipulation that it be professional related. I don't care what your personal feelings are about so-and-so who's no longer here right now. I get it. I'm sure that the times that was rocky. Talk to me about the football stuff. That was a problem. Tell me about the football things that, you thought, we need to do better here. Because clearly, Coach Fisher, when he was head coach in waiting, was formulating ideas as to things he was going to change once he became the head man. Everybody has to put their stamp on a program. Everybody has to do things their way. So there's a certain amount of stuff that's just going to change because it's a new guy at the helm. But, yeah, there are tried and true methods of improving players and getting the most out of practices. And, we say in radio, there's nothing new under the sun. Some things other hosts do better than I do, and I know that. And that if I were to emulate that, it really wouldn't work for my style. But there are other things that I've heard across the country. And I listen in, and I think, that's smart, and that works with the kind of show I like to do. I could incorporate that and tweak it a little bit and make it my own. And there's no shame in that. That works in this business, in entertainment fields in general. But I think it's true in football. You could say, I like the ideas behind that, the principle behind that. I wouldn't do it in that same way. I would incorporate this, and this, and make it my own. But the core of what they're doing there makes sense to me. Yeah, you would have to do that, I would think. Listen, they go to coaches' camps and football camps all over the country for that very reason, to learn from one another, to take from one another. Willie going to visit Dabo Swinney at Clemson obviously is built upon wanting to learn more and inform what you do moving forward. You're going to take the things that work for you when you witness a practice like that, and those that you say, well, I guess that works for them, but I would never do that. I mean, that's just the way that business works. And everybody who coaches the game of football has said at various points when you talk to them about offense or defense or practice and the things they believe to be at the core of what make a good football team or even a bad football team, they'll reiterate the same things. They'll echo the same sentiments time and again. A lot of coaches can run a certain style of offense and tell you, yeah, this is what I like to run. This is my philosophy. But it's not better than what they run, which is the exact opposite. It's just not what we do. They're going to do what they do and do it well. We're going to do what we do and do it well. And here are the benefits of what I run. But I can tell you the benefits of what they run. And if they run it well, they'll win. You know, Walt Bell referenced Stanford. And he said it doesn't matter if you're teaching, you know, when you double tights and you're running the ball down people's throat and you're shortening the game and you're just playing a bludgeoning style of football, or if you're spreading it out and playing a tempo, as long as you do what you do well. And Jimbo used to say this too, right? These things marry. People don't change much. You know, it's one thing when you're talking about prepping for a team or a game and you say, well, what's it like to have to prep for this? You know, are you worried they're going to incorporate something new you haven't seen before? You haven't played Coach so-and-so in 2 years. Are you worried that nobody does? He's got his core principles. They're going to do what they do. I'll go back and look at a few things, a few wrinkles, but you got to do what you do and do it really well no matter what that thing is.
Yeah, or else you're chasing your tail.
Right.
And chasing ghosts. Jimbo used to say that a lot about chasing ghosts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you used it in two different ways. It's chasing ghosts or seeing ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks see ghosts. Sometimes coaches chasing ghosts, and you got to be who you are and be really good at it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Steve Chapman and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill and Mike's Marine Supply.
Wow, E+ is great.
E+? Is that like A+?
It's better. The E stands for energy, but it should stand for easy.
Easy Plus?
Yep, easy ways to save energy, water, and money through the City of Tallahassee utilities. Easy ways to monitor our account, easy ways to pay our bill online, check our balance, compare usage history, and so much more.
And I see the City of Tallahassee Utilities has a smart bill, which sends our bill directly to our email inbox for easy payment online, too. What a time saver.
And when we download the City of Tallahassee's digital app, we can do everything on our phones, even report service issues like a power outage or blocked road.
Plus, when we go to talgov.com, we can get more information on other great City of Tallahassee utilities, like the Energy Star rebates and insulation grants. Wow, the E really should stand for easy.
Yep, E Plus from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. It helps customers save energy, water, and money.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Time now for your Atlanta Braves Minute. Brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey. Personal injury law is all they do.
Monday at SunTrust Park, the Braves took both games of a split day-night doubleheader from the Marlins, taking Game 1 by a score of 9-1 and 6-1 in the nightcap. In Game 1, Touki Toussaint earned the win in his MLB debut, allowing 1 run on 2 hits over 6 innings pitched. Toussaint would get plenty of run support as Ronald Acuna homered to start the bottom of the first, and the Atlanta offense would go to break things wide open with a 5-run bottom of the 6th. Then in the nightcap, Acuna picked up right where he left off in Game 1.
The first pitch to Acuna. He is crushed. Center field deep. That ball is gone for Ronald Acuna. He starts both games of the doubleheader with a leadoff home run. That's his 4th leadoff home run since he took over as the leadoff man right after the All-Star break.
Jim Powell with the call you heard right here on the Braves Radio Network. Mike Fulton-Edwich was outstanding, tossing 8 innings of 1-run ball and even pitched in with an RBI single in the 6th inning. Meanwhile, the series with Miami continues tonight as Anibal Sanchez goes up against Trevor Richards. And as always, hear the call right here on the Braves Radio Network. First pitch is set for 7:35 p.m. Eastern. With the Braves, I'm Kevin McAlpin for the Atlanta Braves Radio Network, lit by Louisiana Hot Sauce.
Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Just a friendly reminder, make sure you go by and see my friends over at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Support the businesses that support the Jeff Cameron Show and 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's much appreciated. Local business sponsoring the Jeff Cameron Show as the title sponsor. That's 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location is open every Saturday from 8 until noon. They got everything, whether it's a small job or a big job that you're involved in, whether you're in construction for a living or you're just out back fixing your deck. Whatever it might be, they've got it at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. And that is true. I've been there and I've seen it, and it's impressive and cool. I don't understand everything, but it's cool. Well, I mean, it's less about an understanding, more about I just conceded a long time ago. Not real good at fixing stuff, so I pay people.
There you go. That's the way to live.
You got to know.
Oh, you got to know what you don't know.
That's right. You got to say, I can't do that.
You got to be Dabo about it.
I am currently unable to build a deck on my own.
I am the Dabo of home improvement. So you, sir, are a contractor, and I'm calling you.
You're making money because of the inability that I have to do what you would think to be simple. So that's all right.
But I can carry a conversation, and you, sir, cannot.
Yeah,
so
on
I'll
the radio,
leave you to
more
your
importantly. Yeah, you get 2, and I'll do my thing, and the world will spin in harmony. All will be all right. All right. I'm looking at any number of amusing observations regarding Florida State and the win totals that we have talked about before, but Vegas is out with more information today. And I went to several places, one of which, again, is an illegal site, Tom, that I will not promote, and one, maybe not an illegal site, but it's not one we're going to bring up on the show, and then one that is just brand new. And let's let all of our friends out there know, even though that we don't get any money from this, SI has embraced gambling, and now so many have. It's across the board. There's an SI gambling site. It's on Twitter. I'm following them.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't suck. The world has come around to my view, my way of thinking.
Oh, there it is.
At least once a show. I'm going to continue to find. Well, listen, it didn't keep you from following them, right? You're gonna.
That's correct. Yes, I did. How did you know?
I mean, I'd follow because of you. You were the one who found out about it.
That's correct. I sure did, buddy.
What time was that, Tom?
Yesterday, around.
It was yesterday?
Yeah, 4:35.
I hate that these things aren't in sequence. Like it popped up on my thing that you liked it, and I went, good call, Tommy.
Well, yeah. It was as I was winding down yesterday. Now that we're getting towards football season and there's a lot of elements that we have to put together. First of all, the Braves are in first place, and we have Braves baseball.
And they're fun to watch.
There's going to be a lot fewer games next month, though. Sorry, Braves fans. We got a lot of NFL football and college football that we're going to be putting on the weekends and Monday night and Thursday night football. But there's a lot of stuff like Deckerhoff promos. I mean, who doesn't love doing Gene Deckerhoff promos and listening to that voice describe great plays or just say your name, like the Jeff Cameron Show? I mean, isn't that pretty cool? So,
yeah. No, Gene and I are friends. I think he would say that that's true. And
he's still good. Got a good handshake to him when he was in the press conferences a couple weeks ago. I was like, all right, Gene with the vice grip. I like it.
Gene's got a good handshake. He's got great knowledge and insight. He's been around the sport forever and a day, along with every other, and he knows people for days. He's got fun stories about John Gruden. I don't want to air all those, but I was talking with him about John Gruden up in Charlotte.
Do you appreciate John Gruden more or less after those stories?
About the same. He's the guy that we think he is. All the strengths and all the weaknesses and everything in between. John Gruden is exactly who you think he is.
Watch your head bob, man. Watch your head bob. Guy's head is wiggling.
Yeah, he's taskmaster, probably difficult at times. At the same time, passionate, loves the game, knowledgeable as all hell. Yeah.
Let's say they get the whole Khalil Mack situation squared away, which is currently a mess in Oakland. If they do...
It just doesn't make any sense to me how in the world you alienate your best defensive player as one of the first orders of business. I don't get what he's doing. Come on. It's one thing if you're John Gruden to talk about embracing the old school and looking at a different way of doing things and not embracing all of the modern analytics and thinking that you get lost in the weeds in doing so, that there's still a certain way to play football. I get that. When old school guys say that, they sound antiquated. They sound like the guy that's about to be passed by and lose a bunch of football games by those who do use modern metrics. I understand that. But at the same time, yeah, I think there are core principles to playing a good, solid brand of football that don't really require you to be knowledgeable, in-depth, in the weeds of all of those modern analytics. Yes.
So let's just say the Khalil Mack situation is ironed out. Over under 7.5 wins for John Gruden in his first season in Oakland. They've got some talent, but he's
got plenty of talent.
He's run some off too.
Well,
you think it's going to work? That's basically the question I'm asking.
I mean, you know what I can't figure out yet? And don't you think he's a bit of an enigma? Derek Carr can look really good and really elite and then disappear, and I don't know what was going on there. The same goes for star receivers and others that we've seen go through Oakland in the last number of years. It's weird. Cooper has been a great player at times, and then Amari's gone. And I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about Oakland in year one of John Gruden.
But Carr has at least pocket mobility, and I think that goes a long way in Gruden's scheme. But there's no doubt he likes to sign a bunch of veterans.
One of the problems, which I didn't want him for that very reason, by the way. But the other thing that I don't know about is that I recall Derek Carr killing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so while I was watching him, I thought future Hall of Famer. And then I'm reminded of the fact that everybody threw the ball at will and with relative ease against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Everybody did, but in year 2, was it? It was year 2 or year 3 in his career. I mean, his touchdown interception was off the charts. He did also, though, have the benefit of the second best offensive line in football. If it wasn't for the Cowboys, they would have been known as the de facto best line in football. But as it stood, they were the number 2 team. They have weapons galore, but you've talked about how, Chucky's out of touch. And since we're talking about Herm Edwards at the college level, which, by the way, listening to Neuheisel today on
it's my dog
10-1,
me and Rick are close.
He thinks it's going to work. He thinks Herm
Rick's
Edwards
a Pac-12 guy, and he's a coach guy. He loves coaches. He doesn't like to rip coaches.
He was unabashed in his support, though. He says, I know a lot of people think they're going to finish in last, but they're going to be closer to a competitor and a contender than they are a last place
They have
team.
some players is why. I mean, if he doesn't just completely botch it, they should at least be average. When I say it's not going to work, I'm looking long-term. I don't know about year one. There are some guys there that can play. So if they're middling or 500 or somewhere in the middle in conference play, that's okay. I could see that, Rick. But you're telling me 4 years from now this thing's going to work out?
Okay.
Who's he recruiting? Please.
Well, I would say probably some very steadfast people.
Let's go to College Park, Maryland, shall we, where today they did what they had no choice to do. And this isn't long after I read on air over the weekend, University of Maryland President Wallace Lowe's statement. When they suspended virtually everybody and placed people on administrative leave with pay, I might add, I thought we're moving towards the beginning of the end here for a lot of these guys on that staff. And I can see that that's probably going to happen. But this is an interesting play from a university president today who said that the university accepts, quote, legal and moral responsibility for the mistakes that were made by its athletic training staff during a workout on May the 29th, which led to the death of 19-year-old offensive lineman Jordan McNair. Whoa. Most attorneys would probably say don't do that.
Unless the evidence
is overwhelming.
This is from a PR perspective, but the evidence is such that you might as well get out in front of it to at least contain the situation as best as possible.
It's refreshing because, as I've said before, the advancements in medical science, the advancements in exercise physiology, the advancements in which we can monitor players as they engage in physical activity, i.e. practice, are such that this could never and should never happen again. It used to happen all too frequently, more than I realized. Obviously, pre-internet, you weren't aware of somebody passing in Kansas at a high school football practice. But obviously, post-internet, we all too frequently read these very sad stories of players being pushed to the brink and dying. And I'm not soft when it comes to working out and being tough and formulating a way to get players to get the most out of their ability and pushing them mentally and physically to the brink to exceed what their expectations for themselves are and can be. I think you got to do that. Football is not a sport for everybody. There is a physical and mental element to it that is extremely difficult, and not all can handle it. And in order to get the most out of people, you sometimes say uncomfortable things. The verbiage used in a practice is not for everybody. And you test limits. You do a lot of things. You push players to the brink. I give you that backdrop so that when I say that this should never happen again, it's not coming from a standpoint of, oh, tisk, tisk, bad football guys saying mean things to players, pushed them, and, oh, somebody fell out and, they should be held responsible. But no, rather, we are at a place where we don't have to figure out what that breaking point is. We don't have to go, is he faking it, being lazy? Is he just trying to get out of this drill? We don't have to do that anymore. We now know, because of equipment, because of GPS, because of the things that most schools, especially in Power 5 conferences, have, you don't have to wonder if little Roger over there is trying to get out of a drill. His body is showing signs of duress to a level where we need to remove him momentarily and make sure he's all right.
Well, we've gotten to a place where water is now not a motivational
tactic. Not a
tactic.
punitive thing.
Yeah.
It's not something you do and dangle as a carrot.
And we all have been there, right? I mean, anybody who's played sports, especially in the summers in Florida, you're predisposed to heat stroke in a way that, some climates aren't, but because of the humidity and the way it gets. But you know the difference between when you were winded and when it was dangerous, you were dizzy. I mean, I'm sure you had to sit down for a couple of plays in the summers.
Yeah, when you were going through two-a-days, I'll grant you back in the late 80s, it was different than now. But yes, water was sometimes used as a dangling carrot, which is nonsense. But gone are the Junction Boy days. We're not doing that anymore. And most coaches have come a long way in understanding hydration is key to getting the most out of a performance. So that changed probably for the good somewhere in the 90s. But anyhow, yeah, it was used. I remember we were going through drills. We'd do these drills where you're going over dummies and then rolling and getting back, popping back up and going back through those drills and then thudding and coming back around to the line and doing it over and over again, up, downs, all these things. And you knew, like, your great reward was eventually to go get some damn water, but you had to do it right, and everybody had to do it right. And you're looking at the fat kid going, I'm not real sure Keith over here is going to get through this drill. And you, come on, Keith, and everybody rallied around Keith. You can do it. You can do it. Those days are long since over, but yeah, there were moments where a guy had to step aside, or you'd look over and go, hey, big fella, you going to be all right? And you could see the look on his face, and you're like, hold on, and you'd look at the coach. And coaches a lot of times knew who the guys were that were in shape, knew the guys that they could trust, and if that guy gave a coach a look like, hold up, then it was understood. You were policing it in the right way, and so you'd pull a guy out. But you shouldn't have to do that, and today we don't have to do that. We don't at all. It's very simple. It's been made easy for coaches now. If a guy's heart rate is at such a rate and he's working far too hard, when the temperature is at a certain level, you get him out. You pull him out, and you understand that in the long run, getting his body cooled off, getting him hydrated, getting him to a place where he can contribute and participate, you're going to get much more out of him. He's going to be more apt to push himself further each time if you are at least showing him that you have his best interest in mind and that you care. It's just not that hard. It's a mentality that has slowly shifted over time, but technology has made it all the easier. And I just don't know. So I guess this is a long-winded way of saying that what Maryland did today is admit they completely screwed up, and tragically it led to a 19-year-old kid's death. And the fact that they're willing to take full responsibility legally and morally is refreshing, because normally these things get bogged down in lawsuits and nobody wants to admit fault, and attorneys are saying, don't you dare say that, because the amount you're going to have to stroke this check for changes when you do. So don't. And this is a group of people behind the scenes going, man, I don't know. This is wrong. It was wrong. He's dead. We can't bring him back, but we can do the right thing. Good for Maryland. And good for that president at the University of Maryland, Wallace Lowe. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
At invoice minus rebates, Tacoma starts at $24,646. That's $4,151 more than our Frontier. Or the full-size Titan and Titan XD, starting at only $20,995 for a 2018 Titan Single Cab S model. Even better, just $26,995 for a 2018 Titan Crew Cab S model. And it's only at Kraft Nissan. Plus, the Nissan Titan has America's best truck warranty of 5 years or 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper. So please, before you buy a Dodge, Chevy, Ford, or Toyota, check out the Nissan Frontier and Titan trucks. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge and Nissan Conquest or Loyalty Truck Cash.
Don't start your day off with the same old boring breakfast. Stop by the Bagel Market and Bistro on Thomasville Road and the Persimmon Hills Shopping Plaza. They have fresh baked bagels and cream cheese every Monday for only $1.50. green smoothies, and great salads like the spinach apple salad. Muffins and cinnamon rolls are also options for breakfast. Sandwiches, salads, and more for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week. Check them out online at thebagelmarketandbistro.com or on Facebook and give them a call at 765-0598.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
Summer temps in Tallahassee can mean extra stress on your AC unit. Let Barano Heating and Air Conditioning help with their Total Comfort Service program. Visit BaranoAC.com for info. You'll also find money-saving rebates, energy-saving tips, online scheduling, and more. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Call 580-4029. License for CAC 057652.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Wahoo Seafood Grill, Tallahassee's leader in fresh seafood, is located right behind the Best Western on North Monroe. Lunch specials start at $7.99. Be sure to try their award-winning house-made burger. Big lunch parties are also welcome. Wahoo Seafood Grill makes lunch specials a very affordable choice. Delivery is available and plenty of parking. Wahoo Seafood Grill, easy access from any part of town using I-10. Visit them online at wahooseafoodgrill.com or call them today at 850-629-4059.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting events? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Little fan day action on Sunday, is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
I think I'm seeing that trickle across the interwebs. Yes, there was a time where we were required to always be at fan day. That time has since passed many moons ago.
I was there for the first 2 or 3 of them, I think. And
I was there for many more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were. You used to...
I was a fan day going fool.
That's right. You know what? You would remark on the fact that fan day was coming for weeks ahead of time.
I would express my feelings about the pending fan day, is what you're saying, in the halls of Clear Channel Radio back when I worked there, right?
With passion, yeah. Yeah.
I would let everybody know that fan day was on the horizon, Tom. Hey, did you know fan day was rapidly approaching? I'll see you there, is what I would say, amongst other things.
Millar would say, yeah, sure, it'll be great.
But I actually was not that jaded regarding fan day early on. It's just after I saw the behavior of adults towards children while in line that I thought, oh, these things just don't end well. This is never good. This isn't us in our best light as people. This is not, and that's true. Now, listen, it's not the annual running of the Gumps.
Right, that was before the running of the Gumps, but,
right.
you know.
That's my favorite preseason date of the year.
Didn't they change that, though? Somebody told you that, right? That they're changing the format of the running of the Gumps?
Well, once it became a national punchline, that the whole country eagerly anticipated watching fat goobers sprinting across the field to go worship at the altar of Nick Saban.
It's the most running they do all year.
Oh, my God. And they're probably near death. Speaking of pulling guys out of lines, I mean, that guy from a year or two ago in the video just blah, blah, just fat flying every which way to Sunday, desperately seeking shelter. It was, something. Did it turn out that the footage of the kid getting slung was false, or was that real?
Oh, where they're fighting in a downtown area? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Not that. Not you and I talking about that guy getting thrown. That didn't look natural into the fountain.
Yeah.
No, the running of the Gumps where a kid gets bowled over. Did that turn out to be fake?
I don't remember anybody refuting it, so I'm going to go with the belief that it's real.
It's the kind of thing that would happen. Some adult who really loves Alabama running over a child who's
you understand
new to the scene.
That the 3 times I've been able to be first in line, we've won a national title, and the 2 times I have not, we did
came
not.
up just short, because of people like you outrunning people like me.
Take your afflicted son out of my way. It's my turn.
If you want to win, that's what you'll do. Bad news right off the bat here. Colorado State head coach Mike Bobo placed on medical leave Monday after recently experiencing numbness in his feet. I read this, and since it's a lot of times about me and not people I don't know like Mike Bobo, I get numbness in my feet, Tom. Should I be concerned? You get numbness in your feet?
If I'm laying the wrong way, overnight, but I think that's just probably I'm cutting off my circulation. You get numbness in your feet just from walking?
Numbness and pain in my right foot at all times, basically.
But that's the one with the plate in it, right?
Yeah, but that's the front of my foot. The back of my foot and the side of my foot is constantly. I feel like I may have the ever-popular plantar fasciitis these days. I think I have it.
Probably need to take that lacrosse ball and just roll out the foot.
Push it on your foot over and over again.
It's excruciating, but
it's really painful.
It helps.
I think I'm probably going to have to do that. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with us.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Are you tired of getting the same two-piece kits? Cornerstone Tool and Fastener in DeWalt have your answer. Buy a 1/4-inch 3-speed impact kit with 2 4-amp-hour batteries and receive a free 1/4-inch 3-speed impact kit. That's correct. You get 2 DeWalt 3-speed impact kits for the price of 1 only at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. While you're there, check out the power of freedom. FlexVolt 60-volt tools from chainsaws to string trimmers, blowers, and even compressors. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance. For any occasion, it's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. Those 60 cents have been freeloading a ride in me for weeks now. I really don't want to be seen like this. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. It's beneath me. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand, all snug and secure where it won't tip over or roll under your seat or get hot in the sun. So find a store already. Grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. That's what pockets are for. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
It's no secret around here. I like things my way. My way keeps our customers happy. My way keeps us on budget. My way keeps this place running. And my way means ordering from Grainger. They've got what we need when we need it. With simplified checkout, dedicated customer reps, and knowledgeable product experts, I can order online, on the phone, or at a branch the way I like it. My way. When it comes to effortless ordering, Grainger's got your back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This moment of respite is brought to you by Subway. 5 footlongs, starting at $4.99 each. $4.99. $4.99. 5 footlongs, starting at $4.99 each. Goodbye.
Limited time to participating shops. Prices vary and are higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Extras additional plus tax. No additional discounts or coupons applied.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee.
I'm Ari Wolf with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Bears' 8th overall pick, Roquan Smith, ended insider Ian Rappaport. The deal is worth $18.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hope you're well. Appreciate you tuning in. I saw where SI and Andy Staples went forward and tried to assess the best trap games of the year for the assumed top 10 teams on the season. And that's always a fun endeavor, actually, because while we await our games and we await the start of the season, all that you have is to speculate on some surprises and some potential pitfalls for teams that are expected to have great seasons. And I think we all do that. But then defining your terms is also important. You would want to define what a trap game is. For example, Michigan Notre Dame is not a trap game. Doesn't really categorize. It's not both teams are aware of each other. Both teams, so that can't be it. You'd have to find a classic game kind of sandwiched between two rivals where one team is clearly the favorite, but given the set of circumstances, quote unquote, this could be a trap. And, lest we be considered, when we're not Florida State radio, Boston College radio.
Which, same colors, I guess. That must be the attraction.
I can't help but think they fall in that category frequently this year, not only with, say, us, because we play Notre Dame followed by Boston College and then Florida. That kind of fits in the category. I know maybe this year would be an exception because we lost 35-3 last year to them. So without question, they should have, our attention. But in a normal year, that would be kind of a trap game. You're usually safe to assume you're going to beat BC, and you play a really physical team in Notre Dame on the road, and then you turn right around and play your rival 2 weeks later, and in between that is BC. That would be considered a trap game.
And the good thing about that game and where it is we will not be the only tired team, and we are the home team, Jeff, so we do not need to travel at the end part of that week.
You and Coach Bowden have that part of it down.
That's good. But BC is playing Miami and Clemson and Louisville, not in that order, but in sequence. They're playing Clemson the week before us. So at least if we're going to be beaten up a little bit by the rigors of hitting the road after playing Clemson here at home, Boston College will be tired as well.
Well, that came up, by the way, in this assessment, with Clemson having lost in quote-unquote trap games each of the last 2 years. In 2016, Pittsburgh beat them at Clemson 2 months before Clemson went on to win the national title. And last year, of course, they lost in that game against Syracuse on a Friday night in October. And I remember I was on the road. I was staying on the beach that weekend, and I went to a bar there. Imagine that, a beach bar, Tom. Found my way there, much by accident, of course. I just stumbled on in.
Happenstance.
Yeah, and I sat down. There was nobody else at the bar.
It's a good bar name, by the way.
Happenstance?
Yeah.
It is a great bar name. You told me to go to this bar. This is where I was.
Oh, that was the Dock, right, I think?
In Pensacola?
Yeah.
So I went there, and there was nobody at the bar where you wait to get to the other parts of the restaurant and sit down, the outdoor part or the other bar. But there was nobody at this one spot, and me and this gentleman hit it off just swimmingly and had a great conversation as we were watching Syracuse and Clemson play, and it became apparent early on Clemson's going to have problems here. And that's before the injury and before all of that happened, which that put a damper on the whole game. But as you were watching that, I thought, Clemson's got problems here. Syracuse, they've messed around and let Syracuse believe. And on Friday nights, these are troublesome games, and that's why I would apply this to this very category. Miami plays Boston College on a Friday night. There, right?
Yes.
That's a bit of a problem.
Up there, and they both have equal time to prepare. It's coming off of a bye, so it's not a short week, but both teams have the same amount of rest for it,
Could be a problem. And I would also note that Clemson plays Boston College. And, of course, Boston College was tied with Clemson in the fourth quarter in Death Valley last year. So would you be shocked if Boston College doesn't pull off an upset in one of those three games? Miami, Clemson, or Florida State. They're going to win one of those three. I believe that.
Yeah, I think if we're putting on that hat, which is getting worn in pretty good now these days, of what a Boston College person would think, give me 1 and 2 in those three. That's fair. Give me one of those.
Right. Yeah, no, this is, you would definitely say give me 1 and 2 in those, 2 and 1, and you've got a legitimate shot that you're fighting for the Atlantic.
Well, okay, NC State has a good quarterback, right? I mean, we are at least willing to say that Ryan Finley's a good college quarterback, if not a decent pro prospect. His accuracy off the charts, all that kind of stuff.
No, he's a good player.
I mean,
he'll tell you about it, too.
I'm sure he will.
I interviewed him.
But the race for what? Second, third in the conference? I mean, that should be pretty heated. Louisville.
Third, the race for third. Nobody should be ahead of Clemson State and Clemson and Florida State. Clemson State.
But Louisville, Boston College, NC State, these are all potent enough teams, right? In a given week?
I put Louisville behind both of them.
Okay. Well, I would think so, given the way we've been talking. That would be kind of weird if you had Louisville ahead of them.
Yeah, I think the battle for third is NC State and Boston College. I think that's true.
But is NC State a legitimate contender for that place in the division, given all the love we're giving Boston College and Adazio, but we're not really talking about NC State at all?
And the reason we're not talking about NC State at all is they lost defensive prowess, dominant defensive forces. And by the way, even with those players like Chubb and others on defense last year, they lost 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make an argument Dave Doran is just an average-ass coach. And so, you know what I do with NC State? I go, well, a lot of talent. Dave Doran's still coaching there. Average-ass coach. And we move on. That's kind of how that works. That's what we do there. So, I mean, they should have man, when the draft happened, I couldn't help but think if I were an NC State fan, what are we doing here? I mean, good God, half our team was drafted.
Well, what have we done here? Yes.
Not a lot. In fact, nothing. Nothing of any consequence whatsoever. I mean, that would really – that's a –
well, and you can make a compelling argument that we might have come out of that game winners and victorious in September if, A, there was time to prepare, and B, we had Francois. So what would they have done last year at all? NC State.
But they still didn't do anything. I mean, I guess you'd give them that win, but it's a win in a year in which we lost 35-3 to Boston College as well and barely beat Wake and Duke. So, I mean, wave the flag, I suppose, but we lost 6 times. I mean, they don't really get credit for anything.
What the hell you want from us? We lost 6 times.
6 times. We weren't. Yeah.
You're one of the 6, okay?
There you go. But I'll pick that game. I think it's a lot of fun. They went on at SI, and Andy Staples did, to say that, Wisconsin, you look at a team like that and wonder if they don't have that kind of a game. The trip to Northwestern, it's sandwiched between ho-hum games against Illinois and Rutgers. Another way of phrasing ho-hum games are routes.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois. Sweet Jesus. God, it's got to be just a thankless, frustrating, sad existence rooting for Illinois on an annual basis.
Well, if you're an Illinois and then Bears fan, it's been a little while, too, for them.
But Illinois, I mean, you get Lovey at Illinois.
So we signed Glennon. Well, but think about it. You're also a Lovey Smith fan, in that part of the country.
Sure, well, you would have been.
Here we go.
There was a time we all were. And then that time passed. That time passed.
Things moved on.
Yes, and he did not. And then Illinois hired him, and everybody went, what? What the world? That's just, yeah. So let's look at another one of these situations that they would call a trap game. LSU took out Auburn in Tiger Stadium last year. Always seems to give Alabama a game, no matter how different the teams may be at the time in Baton Rouge. That's why I'm calling this a trap game in terms of the SEC. Everybody seems to be penciling in Georgia winning at LSU on October the 13th. There's your SEC trap game. Believe that?
Ooh, I'd like to see LSU in week 1 against Miami.
Well, you will, and soon. Yeah, baby.
Hey, we're celebrating that day.
We are celebrating that day, and thanks to our friends at Fan Retreat, you can too, with the first beer is on them. Just go sign up right now at fanretreat.com.
That's right.
Boom.
Popular retreats on the homepage after you get your free account.
Click.
There you go.
In the Big 12, Oklahoma will be on high alert for visits from Florida Atlantic, boo, and UCLA, boo. 2 ass kickings. Stop it. especially UCLA. Take the under, boys. UCLA ain't doing nothing. The Sooners will be awake when they face Baylor on September 29th. Wouldn't matter if they weren't. I would say watch out for the trip to Ames. Well, yeah, they just lost in Oklahoma a year ago to Iowa State. And Matt Campbell is a rising star in the world of coaching. 38 years old. I don't know if you knew that. 38 years old.
They won enough big games last year that I was acquainted with Matt by the end of the season.
You know who else is acquainted because of his history and ties to the area? Ohio State. So if something does go wrong with Urban Meyer, perhaps there's your next head coach at Ohio State.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. The Bears sliced and diced Oklahoma's defense last year in Waco, and that was before Baylor really got its personnel figured out. This game comes a week before Oklahoma's showdown with Texas in Dallas, so it could be easier to overlook. I don't know. Not buying that one.
Not for a revenge factor game, right?
Well, Oklahoma's going to win that game without a problem. That's a reach to me. The kinds of games where you're trying to find the trap. Don't you think back to a year ago when USC and Washington State on a Friday night, you're watching that thing play out and you're going, this has a nightmare written all over. Remember how foggy it was? Mm-hmm. And you just kind of, this isn't good.
If you're a Trojans fan, you go, oh boy. Really?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yep. And you just felt that. Those ESPN games on the weird day is always the one. I mean, we're all aware of what happens on Thursday night football games for years. Unfortunately, it's happened to us. The Redemption Thursday games have always been one where you're like, ooh. And I'll stare down on occasion the Thursday night football gods.
Oh, we've delivered some beatings on Thursday nights.
Oh,
yes.
Runaways, ass beatings, beautiful moments. We've also been on the wrong end of some terribly disappointing outcomes.
And on Fridays as well. See last year.
Which do you hate more, the Friday night game or the Thursday night game? From a potential for an upset and concern that it's a lackluster sort of.
Probably the Thursday night games. There have been more circle games like that. I feel like last year was just going to happen. Like I knew it was going to happen, so I wasn't disappointed. But there have been more Thursday games, especially when I was a student, where I thought bad things were going to happen, and of course they did. NC State at the top of the list, right? But then we forget some of the rousing comebacks. Louisville in 2014 was on a Thursday night. So was the North Carolina game up in Chapel Hill where Ponder engineered a second-half comeback.
That throw
to Bo Relaford. Yeah, it was a wheel route.
What a throw.
Yeah, and then he hit Rod Old School Owens up the sidelines.
Down the sideline for a 90-something yard touchdown.
98?
Yeah, it was a long ways.
Yeah, it was a really, really long touchdown.
Those were really amazing moments for that young man as a quarterback. His game in that game was incredible. He was, throwing NFL throws all over the place.
Yeah, I think that tape actually made him a couple of bucks, right?
Yeah. Do you remember of the surprises a year ago? I'm thinking about trap games again. Number 5, Washington losing to Arizona State, 13-7 last year.
Well, the score, I think, is the stunning part.
Well, I think the thing that made no sense was, if I remember the stat right, Arizona State's defense was giving up, a lot, 30-something points a game for like the previous 3. I mean, they didn't stop anybody, and Washington was lighting people up. And next, the opposite ends up happening. They score 7 points. Arizona State's defense is dominant, and one thing Arizona State is a team that once a year now, I don't know if they'll do it under their new head coach and CEO, as they're calling it, Herm Edwards, but they're good for one weird-ass game a year, and it's always fun because they're high on the list of kick-ass uniforms.
I'm a spiritual leader with a whistle.
Oh, I can't wait. If that goes wrong, we're going to get the best press conferences every week. Because he's going to get painted into a corner. He's going to be asked tough questions. Why aren't you winning football games? And it's just going to be so much fun when he gets antsy and desperate and kind of talks outside the pages. If he goes on his own, here we go.
He's off script, everybody.
We're in trouble now. I won't say what I was going to say.
Cut the power.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Are you tired of getting the same two-piece kits? Cornerstone Tool & Fastener in DeWalt have your answer. Buy a quarter-inch 3-speed impact kit with 2 4-amp-hour batteries and receive a free quarter-inch 3-speed impact kit. That's correct. You get 2 DeWalt 3-speed impact kits for the price of 1, only at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. While you're there, check out the power of freedom. FlexVolt 60-volt tools from chainsaws to string trimmers, blowers, and even compressors. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
It's no secret around here. I like things my way. My way keeps our customers happy. My way keeps us on budget. My way keeps this place running. And my way means ordering from Grainger. They've got what we need when we need it. With simplified checkout, dedicated customer reps, and knowledgeable product experts, I can order online, on the phone, or at a branch the way I like it. My way. When it comes to effortless ordering, Grainger's got your back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's hard to feel lucky when your dishwasher breaks, or your dryer, or refrigerator. But maybe you should. Right now, the Home Depot has up to 25% off the high-quality brands you'd feel lucky to own, like GE, LG, and Samsung. So if you've got an appliance that needs replacing, this could be your lucky break. Get up to 25% off top appliances now, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. While supplies last, see store for details, valid through August 22nd.
The push for the postseason is on as the Atlanta Braves continue to roll as one of baseball's most exciting teams.
And the first pitch to Ozzie, hit hard to right field. Did he get enough? Going back is Schebler. It's gone. He got enough.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you in part by Bagel Market Bistro, Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia, and by Dean Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bainbridge, Georgia. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Can't believe you turned me on to this Barn Acre Alpacas site. I just find myself spending hours at a time looking at alpacas.
Are they not awesome?
They're the damn cutest things I've ever seen besides a koala bear. If I had a bunch of land and alpacas and koala bears littered that land, I'd be a happy man. Along with dogs.
You can tell
as long as the dogs didn't hurt the alpacas or the koalas.
Well, that's the thing, right? Yeah. You can tell these people are very happy and content where they are, though.
They got a lot of land, a lot of space. It's pretty. And a bunch of alpacas who look like the nicest damn animals in the world. And they're silly. They're like goats. They're just big goats.
With long necks.
And they're goofy. They're like oblong at times. They're Their shapes change all the time.
They look like a lowercase h.
They do look like a lowercase h. Good call. They're ridiculous. But there are sites like this that you just can't stop. Oh, look at that. Look at those alpacas. Oh, look at these alpacas. They're standing on top of the crate. Hon, come here and look at these alpacas. Look at this guy. He's a newborn. Look at this one. He's the old veteran of the group. He's sauntering over to play in the water. Look at they all move out of the way when he comes. He's been around the block. That alpaca's seen some things. On that, you can't help it. I'd own an alpaca as long as they don't spit on you.
Yeah, the one's wearing a vest. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, you're looking at the one?
With the pink vest on?
Yeah, you got a pink vest on. I don't know what's going on there.
That's what he's saying to the photographer.
Yeah, what are we
like,
doing here?
What's this?
What's this? Look at the one in the background just like glancing over while walking by.
That's photo bombing.
Hey, everybody. Look at me. I'm on my way to eat some grass. That's what the hell I'm doing today.
These people must make up all these names. How can they know all the alpacas from one another?
Oh, no, I think if that's all you do all day is take care of the alpaca, you probably have a pretty good idea. How many do they have?
I don't know. Scores of them, apparently.
Who do you think's the most overrated team in the top 20 this year?
Ooh, in the top 20? I got to check the coaches poll.
Oh, don't we all?
Hopefully not.
Check that coaches poll and let me know who you think. In the Amway coaches poll is the most overrated of the bunch. I'm just curious to get your answer here.
There's some candidates here.
Every year.
TCU, I'm not so sure about TCU.
Never are.
Never are. That's probably unfair for that reason. Miami at 8? Really? Are we going to put them at 8? Their schedule might be such that they're, hovering around the top 15 all season long. I know you're on Michigan State. You like them. You believe after last year that they're on the right track.
I think they bounced back. Yeah, I think they're a decent team. And Michigan State's 12. It's not like they're ranking them 5th.
Virginia Tech at 17.
You think they're on the cusp of a disastrous season beginning in game number 1.
I kind of do.
Underrated in this coach's poll is Mississippi State. Straight up. That's a good team. They're a good football team, and Joe Moorhead's bunch is going to surprise people. So I will say Mississippi State's the underrated team. Florida State is an underrated team at 19. Overrated team might be, Central Florida. We really believe in this again?
Well, they're 23, so it was almost like a throw-in vote. But, okay, this is, again, we define our terms, right? Is it overrated or underrated by what you think the record is going to be at the end of the season or how good they actually are? Because Mississippi State could be underrated, but they're playing in the SEC West.
Well, and that's the whole thing about Florida State that I've told everybody and that a lot of us Noles certainly believe, which is that this could be a vastly improved team from a year ago, and we may not see a dramatically improved record. They went 7-6 last year. Jimbo 6-6. Or 5-6. Sorry. Yeah, Jimbo left here with a losing record, didn't he?
He did indeed.
Yeah,
yes, he did not win the 6th game last year. Odell won that game.
Yeah. So, this could be a much better team and plays to its ability, but at the same time, given that Mississippi State is, unfortunately for them, stuck in the SEC West, it's hard to imagine they're going to do much better than 8-4, right?
Yeah. Yeah, really, they're going to have a landmark game or two to sniff anything close to a top 15 ranking by the end of the year, which is why, again, I'm a little confused.
Well, that ranking at 18th is probably then accurate, and the same may be said for us then at that point.
I wonder. I think if we go 9-3 with the schedule that we play, we'll get a nod into the top 15. Because if we go 9-3, that means we win at least one high-profile game.
Maybe. What if Virginia Tech sucks and we win that game and it's no longer a high-profile game and the only high-profile games you play are on the road at Miami, on the road at Notre Dame, and host Clemson and lose all 3?
That's certainly possible, but I think it's hard for perception to change completely, especially if you don't fall on your face later in the season. By the way, also today was announced that we get Fowler, Herbstreit, and Maria Taylor for that Monday night game.
Yeah, I don't know who Maria Taylor is, but that's awesome. We've got
She's their headless sideline reporter.
Is she?
Yeah.
I don't remember her. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying that to be dismissive of women on the sideline, but although I think that's a useless role, men or women.
She took over when Heather left for NBC Sunday Night Football.
Which one's Heather?
Heather Cox. She was the one that interviewed Jameis, and remember she asked a couple of questions and people got mad.
I really just don't.
She's the redheaded one.
No,
Doesn't
I know
really
what you're
answer.
talking about.
Ask
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most. Yeah.
I don't really. That role hasn't improved much over the years, whether it's a woman or a man.
Maria's pretty good. She can actually drive a studio show. So she's got some chops while also being on the sidelines.
I respect that. I feel like the sideline people, even if knowledgeable, are set up to fail because they get 5 seconds to tell you that, it's slippery down here.
Yeah.
I mean, they just don't have a lot to add, and they're put in an unenviable position. It's not something I would really like to do. And there may be a chance I do some with Sirius. We'll see. But I would not like doing the thing where you stand at the end of the half by the locker room and wait for the coach to come off, who's pissed and ready to talk to his team about any number of things, to ask them, Coach, you really struggled on defense in that first half, giving up 28 points. What has to change in the second half? Well, Jeff, and then they're incensed, and
Right.
there was nothing you could have asked there.
Yeah, to clean up the timeline, of course, how could I forget Sam Ponder was on the primetime team.
And I'm not, again,
and then she went to desk work for
Wow.
Sundays.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying these people are devoid of skill. In the early stages of that role being developed for all broadcasts, it was in some ways demeaning. There was nothing there, and for the most part, whether it was an ex-athlete like Eric Dickerson, who had nothing to say and provided no insight, or just, frankly, a really good-looking woman, the situation was, I don't know what they thought they were going to get out of it, but it hadn't been clearly defined in a way that it could be useful to the listener, to the viewer, where you got something from those reports. So you just weren't getting anything from those reports. So it seemed evident to me that you were either going with a Hall of Fame caliber athlete just to have him there in the hopes that he would say something interesting, or a really good-looking lady. That's what they were doing. And over time, it developed to where it's gotten better than that, but it's still not something you feel like, well, if they didn't have that person, I would feel lost. Nah.
Well, yeah,
like when they cut to Todd McShay, I'll use that as an example.
Sure.
Todd McShay's good at what he does if you're talking about fantasy football, but I don't need Todd McShay saying a damn thing on the sideline.
Or the draft, but yeah.
Sorry, I forget what he did.
Which he plays fantasy games in his head with the draft because there's trades and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But every once in a while,
there's been a trade.
I think Michelle Tafoya probably does the best job on Sunday Night Football, and the NFL maybe has an edict that you have to
provide something
to her. But when there are injuries, she usually is the quickest to get it. Now, we know sitting in the press box, it's announced to the press at large, but there have been several instances where Michelle actually got the injury news and then it was reported afterwards.
Most useful aspect of the person on the sideline is to give you insight like that, and or if there's something that a coach is repeatedly saying. I've never done it, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I'm talking about it from the standpoint of being a viewer. What do I want? What would add to a broadcast? And again, I think you're largely set up to fail. Just the role itself, it doesn't lend itself to great insight. You don't have enough time. But Tom Block does a good job of this, and I'm not saying that just because he's my friend, but he'll let you know if coach, Gene will go down to him and he'll say, Gene, right now the coaches are imploring the defense to stay home on those plays, and then Lamar's been killing them on these plays, and that's good. That's insight. That's something that's interesting, and that's radio. TV.
Yeah, the guy I liked the most, or at least the style, maybe more than the guy, when Fox had Saragusa down in the end zones, he could give you a sense of what's going on in the trenches.
But I got tired of him too.
Well, why? Because of his presentation?
Yeah, he fancied himself a jokester. And he was playing a caricature. Look, I'm a fat dude. I like to eat.
Sure. Yeah, all you need is Greenberg telling him that, you need to lose weight.
Right.
But I think that idea has at least some merit to it. Think about the way they do hockey, right? They put a guy between the two benches, and they can tell you about the drawing that's going back and forth, or the speed of the game.
Well, those guys are placed in an interesting position. I mean, they're right down on the ice, sitting center glass. Yeah, that's
correct. Yeah, well, you could get a real sense of what's going on. It's hard because, the best seat on the sideline or spot on the sideline is where the coaches are standing, certainly not the end zones. Remember when they put Paul McGuire in the end zone in the cherry picker for a couple of games?
Tragic. They had him up on high.
They put him in, like where they shoot the film for practice.
It was bizarre.
they were experimenting, and they weren't afraid to experiment with
Al
Paul.
was at the end of it, or Paul was at the end of his career there too. That was not a good.
It was
you know who does a good job whenever you see him, and he's not on the bigger games, but I think he will ascend to that position. Cole Kubrick, I think his name is. He's a former Auburn offensive lineman. Does some radio now, and he's good. He does a good job of letting you know what the offensive line specifically, because he's a recent player. And I do get the sense when I like to hear about the trenches. I'm like you. I want to hear something like that. He does a good job, but there just aren't too many people on the sidelines, man or woman, that really provide all that much to a broadcast. And it's not always their fault. The thrust of what they do is kind of, didn't need
Yeah, thanks for that. You guys really needed a breather that badly, huh?
Appreciate you, Todd. Has there been another trade? Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Mr. McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis, Mr. McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Attention students. Looking for new furniture or mattresses? Call Tallahassee Furniture Direct today at 545-7112. Brand new furniture and mattresses at ridiculously low prices. Mattress sets less than $200. Bedroom sets less than $400. Living room sets less than $600. And complete apartment packages 50% below retail. Tallahassee Furniture Direct, 545-7112. Quality furniture, low prices. Delivery is available. Tallahassee Furniture Direct, 545-7112.
It's hard to feel lucky when your dishwasher breaks, or your dryer, or refrigerator. But maybe you should. Right now, the Home Depot has up to 25% off the high-quality brands you'd feel lucky to own, like GE, LG, and Samsung. So if you've got an appliance that needs replacing, this could be your lucky break. Get up to 25% off top appliances now, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. While supplies last, see store for details, valid through August 22nd.
I'm tired of reading headlines about corruption and crime in Tallahassee. When I saw Jeremy Matlow wanted to step up to serve our community, I knew he would fight to reduce crime, strengthen local business, and listen to everyone, not just City Hall insiders. I trust Jeremy Matlow. He's a proven business leader who won't waste our tax dollars. Jeremy has always done what's right for Tallahassee. I'm voting for Jeremy Matlow for City Commission.
Political advertisement paid for and approved by Jeremy Matlow, nonpartisan, for Tallahassee City Commission, C3.
Pros and a no start with Lowe's, because at Lowe's, it's easy to find the right tools for the job at the right price. And now you can get up to 30% off select cordless drills and combo kits, including savings on trusted brands like Hitachi, Porter Cable, DeWalt, and Cobalt. Plus, get in and out quickly with help from dedicated associates at our Pro Desk and Pro Checkout. So, Pro, now that you know, start with Lowe's. Offer valid through August 19. While supplies last. See store for details.
Thank you. It's a phrase we can't say enough at the Jeff Cameron Show and 97.9 ESPN Radio. And to show you just how much we appreciate you, our listeners, it's time for the 7th annual Jeff Cameron Show Libations Friday Fest, held this year on a special day, Sunday, September the 2nd from 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. This year, our friends at fanretreat.com have stepped up to sponsor the festivities. So that means your first beer is on us, or Fan Retreat, really. All you have to do is head to fanretreat.com, sign up for a free account, click on the popular retreats icon on the homepage, and join our event. Just like that, your first beer at Libations Friday Fest is taken care of. As always, we'll have free t-shirts for hundreds of you, but get there early. We run out every single year. And to cap it off, there's a free end-of-the-night raffle with fantastic giveaways from JCS sponsors. The 7th annual Jeff Cameron Show Libations Friday Fest, Sunday edition, brought to you by fanretreat.com. Sunday, September the 2nd from 4 to 7:30 at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Thank you to all of our listeners, and we'll see you there.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I was trying to look and see, did I see this right? I'm still buzzing from the golf over the weekend.
Had a good time, did you?
No, I'm just looking at some of the accolades that followed and some of the discussions of what it means and what we'll see moving forward. And it certainly does seem like the thought, at least on those greens, is that the slower greens allowed for some of the guys that have been struggling lately on the greens to be in it, Adam Scott in particular, which I understand. But I feel like if we're going to cite something that allowed Tiger Woods to be there, you can't do that because he was good in the majors this year. He was, well, by and large, and he was, he finished 6th at Carnoustie. So it's not like he wasn't in it in these other events.
Yeah, he's trending in the right direction, especially if you're looking for forecasting for next year or him giving himself and the team a good look at the Ryder Cup next month. I know that Jim Furyk was trying to honor the 8. Well, yesterday's press conference was about the 8 that made it, which is why I think he didn't want to steal the moment away. But, I mean, Tiger's going to be on that team.
Well, yes. He's going to be on that team, and there's no question. In the beginning, he almost went out of his way too much to avoid the talk, and then I understood what he was doing later on, and I thought, okay, well, I got you. But celebrate the event, celebrate what that means, and go ahead and create the excitement anyhow, so that more people will be talking about the Ryder Cup. I know it's an away game for us this year, which is all the more reason you would want a guy who's pretty steely like that. I don't think you can go with DeChambeau's not. I don't think he's going to make that.
Well, he's volatile. That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah, he's combustible as a player, and that can go one of two ways. You can go Patrick Reed, and you can channel it into becoming the anti-everything, the anti-Sergio Garcia. I think that's the one thing that has me a little bit buoyed about him this year, because Patrick Reed is completely tanked as the season's gone on. He's been much, much worse. Missed the cut this past major. Playing next to Brooks will do that to you sometimes, though. And yet, because we're on the road in Paris and he absolutely loathes the other side for the Ryder Cup, I think you'll probably get the best out of him.
Trending in the right direction is certainly a way to put it. He finished 32nd at the Masters, which isn't great, but it's not horrific. Obviously, where he was bad was the U.S. Open, and he did not make the cut there. But tied for 6th at the British and now 2nd at the PGA is a good sign. And the fact that he put together a back nine on a Sunday with an opportunity and went charging up the leaderboard, really hasn't done that on a Sunday on a back nine of any big tournament this year. He hasn't been able to put that together.
He really hasn't done that in his career from the position he was in either.
Well, yes, and I think there's always a bit of a misleading element to the stat about him not having come from behind after 54 holes to win a major. He was so frequently far and away the best on moving day on a Saturday at a major that he put himself in a position to not have to. And wouldn't more people like to do that?
Sure, 15 times, which is, that was the only time he lost was to Y.E. Yang. And, yeah, that's what Tiger was made of. But, when you look at the great resumes of Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, that was the thing about what Jack did is he was always in that top five. He would like to front run as much as anybody else, but he was always in that conversation. And for Tiger to do this the way he did it, shoot a 64 on a Sunday.
Lowest ever round on a Sunday.
Sure, and maybe the course was a little bit easier, if you're talking about stroke average, so maybe it's a 66, but who cares, if you weight it, weight the score. But, he went after it. He was going flag hunting. He was, taking on difficult shots.
He was hitting big shots. The mistake is on 17 where he comes out of it and goes right. And he's always hated going left. He's afraid to go left. We both read the same book. We understand that, Hank documented, so did Steve Williams, talk about how Tiger got in trouble on courses where there was trouble left. I don't know what it is. His misses left have always stuck in his mind, whereas his misses right, he's able to forget and just move on and hit the next shot and play well. If he misses something left, he's pissed, and it stays with him, and it lingers, and it's a problem for the rest of the round. I don't know why some of the world's best golfers have that issue. Not all do, but he has his whole career. Drives me nuts. I wish he could get rid of that. But it's not going to happen if it hasn't happened by now.
But what he's done is he's added a new chapter to when he reflects in his mind and he's got to do something or make something under the gun. That's a different animal right there. In a way, that's him rising to the top of the game in a more impressive way than he did even when he was 18 and then took over in the late 90s, early 2000s, because he had to be humiliated before he climbed all the way back up the ladder to the point he is now.
I wonder... The only thing I wonder about, and we celebrated like everybody else did, and obviously as Knowles, Brooks Koepka winning is the coolest thing, and it's just hard to imagine that guy's now won 2 majors in the same year and 3 overall and has become a guy now that has kicked open the door. There's no way you're going to get these situations any longer like they have all year long in which they just largely ignore a preeminent player, a dominant player on the tour that has the entire package. Brooks gets largely ignored, partly because of his personality and he deflects the attention, and also because the world fell in love with people like Jordan Spieth and, Ricky Fowler, who's never won a thing. And that's not true. Ricky's won Sawgrass and he's won some tournaments. I shouldn't say that, but he's not won a major, and they still gravitate towards him. That's going to stop. I think Brooks now has entered that upper echelon to a place now where the media has no choice, and that's awesome. But again, admittedly, the story was Tiger Woods, and it will continue to be.
But Brooks is the guy you want for a road game, too.
Woo! Well, he already proved his mettle in the Ryder Cup and was sensational and hit shot after shot that made us proud. We were looking at him like, look at this guy.
The one thing, and maybe it's worth asking Trey, maybe not on the record, but off the record, just to get an answer, but I find it that there's a bit of a paradox there with Brooks, is he doesn't want the attention, but then he gets mad when he's not given the attention.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know, and by the way, that's been written about, but I don't. What was it he has said that has indicated that he gets really angry when he doesn't get attention?
He was mad after nobody, I think it was one reporter wanted to interview him after his opening round 69 on Thursday this past week.
Well, what did he say that he said, I'm mad?
Well, he said that, I'm going to shoot a low number today. Now you people are going to want to talk to me, that kind of thing.
Oh, did he?
And then also, trying to think of the other example. I've been reading so many things on Brooks the last couple of days.
Well, okay, so it's established, because I've read it elsewhere too, that he gets frustrated when
it was okay this past week. There are many examples, but the last week there was another one where he goes to work out, and he and Dustin Johnson are working out, and everybody comes up and they even say to Brooks, "Do you know who that is? That's Dustin Johnson, the #1 player in the world." and Brooks is sitting over there like, hey, do you know who I am?
Yeah,
I'm a two-time major champion.
Three now.
Well, yeah, in that moment, it was a two-time major champion. So, I don't understand how there are times when clearly he doesn't give a damn about what the crowd wants or feels or believes, but then there's another moment where if you don't give him the attention that he deserves, he gets angry at you, resents you for it, and then uses it as a motivation tool.
I don't know, but I know that players that are quirky and different cats in general who motivate themselves in ways that differ from the norm are often at odds with themselves and at odds with their own statements and persona. It's weird. The football player that's on the #1 ranked team in the country and finishes getting a victory against a team in a hard-fought game will utter the ridiculous phrase, "Nobody thought we could do it." And so these tricks to motivate oneself or to find a slight around every turn are pretty commonplace in the game. Jerry Rice and others who long since had been labeled the best player at their position or maybe of all time would cite the fact that early in their career nobody thought they could do it. And, there's still people out there who just don't believe I'm going to have a good year in, year out. Here I am. I'm like, well, we stopped believing that about 15 years ago, man.
There's truth to what Brooks is saying, especially when it comes to the attention paid to him because he's not somebody who can sell ratings. He's not the look of him is absolutely somebody who could, move the television needle. But the thing about him is that if you're going to be mad at people for not giving you attention in one way, but then you get out in the course or you have the Tonight Show call you or whatever, and you have opportunities to market yourself and you say, the hell with that, I'm about the winning.
Then you can't do it.
Well, I get frustrated with you. Ride or die. You're a Knoll, so we're A-okay here. But just what's the nuance there that I'm missing?
It'll be an interesting conversation because I'd like to know the answer. I don't think I have an answer to that. I think it's a young guy figuring out what it is to be a superstar and what's required of you. I don't know. Remember, he's 28 years old. He's not 20.
Right.
And he had to go over to Europe, and I don't know that the path to superstardom was always as clear-cut and obvious for him. I mean, his confidence never wavered, I don't think, once he decided, look, I can do this. I'm one of the best players in the world. But I don't know if maybe he always saw himself in that regard. I don't know why a Jordan Spieth handles that pretty well and expects that kind of attention. And we're talking about on the course demeanor now.
Well, I think it was paid him much earlier in life. That's the thing about Brooks in his formative years. I mean, Florida didn't come calling for him. That's why he loved beating the Gators.
Yeah. Maybe there weren't enough people that saw the greatness that he knew he possessed. And so on the one hand, it's kind of, I'll show all of you. I deserve to be here, and I'll stare down the best in the world and win. And maybe on the other hand, it is sort of a feeling of a chip on my shoulder. Not everybody.
Well, the good thing is when he was met with early success, which he's had now, 3 majors, if he errs on the side of preparation, not adulation. Because a lot of guys that win a major or two, and then, next thing you know, instead of being chiseled and jacked, they've got a little paunch to them, and they're enjoying all the endorsements and all that kind of stuff.
I think, first of all, you're going to see him on the front cover of magazines. Everybody's reaching out for him. He's got, actor good looks. He's put together, obviously. He's extremely confident. He is willing to put in the work and the preparation. In fact, the process, as Jimbo used to call it incessantly, is something that he thoroughly embraces and enjoys. And I don't think that changes. Not when it's met with a lot of success, especially. When you have figured out that I've got to change my demeanor on the course, I've got to change the way I react to good shots and bad shots. I've got to figure out how to get into that headspace that allows me to focus in and hit good shot after good shot, whether it's in a pressure-packed moment or the middle of a round on a Thursday. I got to be that guy all the time. Whatever that was, whatever that inner search was or figuring it all out has happened now. And now maybe that's complete and you realize this is working, you can take the next step to your off-the-course persona, whatever that might be. Because you figured it out on the course and you figured it out in the weight room and you figured it out in your practice rounds.
I think what's interesting is probably in a world, and I know they're friends, so this could never happen, but in a world where Dustin Johnson did not exist, Brooks would probably be getting that type of Dustin Johnson love and coverage. And I get that Dustin is more decorated in terms of overall wins and consistency for a longer period of his career, but the Dustin angle of just kind of being mellow and powerful, that's already been done. So Brooks is like the second in that mold. Yet he's become more successful in the majors than Dustin has been.
I know that Dustin has the most consecutive years with a tour win. I know that he's put together, in terms of total wins, an amazing career. He's also had a good year this year. But now when you're down, was it 3-1 in majors, and that's your your ride and die guy, your workout guy, your neighbor, and he's adapted everything you are on the course in terms of the way that you react and breathe. And
he beats you round 4 of the U.S. Open this year, head-to-head.
He kind of consistently beats his ass now.
Yeah.
I wonder how well. Yeah, I wonder how often he thinks to himself, I probably shouldn't have revealed the trick. I should not have revealed the inner Zen, right? I should not have shown him that way to, I don't know. It's a weird thing, and it's hard to figure out. I don't really care so long as he's not an a-hole and he's not, this other person. I mean, that dichotomy is strange, though. Respect me and talk about me. Don't talk about me. I don't want
right. Well, I don't want to go on your television show.
Yeah,
I don't want to do your interview. Screw you.
I think it's going to change. One thing that is different is that I think it's different than maybe this is it. The self-aggrandizing that is taking place when you go and do the circuit, if you will. So you're on each of the talk shows at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever it might be in New York and Los Angeles, and you're doing that thing. And then you're on a bunch of national radio shows or whatever. All of a sudden you're on Howard Stern or wherever you're on, right? And it's all about you all the time, and it's all stuff that has nothing to do with golf. You may want to take a step back from it and say, I have nothing to do with that. I'm not the type of personality that will work for. I'm not going to be engaging. It's going to be a bad look for me. I don't give these interviews in which I'm just this most affable fellow that everybody can't wait to be around. I know that about myself. I'm kind of low-key and subdued in those settings. So this isn't going to work. However, if I'm competing in a tournament and I'm in my element and I'm one of the best players in the world, I damn well expect that the people who cover this game be here to talk to me and ask me questions, because that's what you do for a living. You cover the best players in the world, and I am clearly one of those.
It's a good answer. If it's not his, he should adopt it.
I like it. I think I got it figured out. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it, my friends, and I hope you're well on this Lawn Maintenance Tuesday. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, don't miss anything. If you do miss something, we'll post all 3 hours upon the conclusion of the program, both to iTunes and in our own audio vault. If you're emailing, be patient. We get them. Fire away. Appreciate the fodder and the insight. JCS at 979, ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. WTSM app works well for your mobile devices, and that's Android or iPhone. Doesn't matter. You can watch us on YouTube. Just type in ESPN Tallahassee. Watch us on Periscope as well, just on Twitter at 979 ESPN Radio. The follow there. Florida State again down at IMG. You're hopping in the car saying, all right, what's up? Well, not a lot. I mean, you're only able to observe so much from the guys down there. You got some guys that the coaches were willing to talk about today. And, I told you this last week when we played the audio. I really like listening to Coach Kelly. There's something in the inflection of his voice that, I like. It's sing-songy. But also, I would note, I just think he's an overwhelmingly positive force for that team and for those coaches and for those kids. And his perspective on what the receivers are doing continues to be something that I gravitate towards, that I find going to be, in my mind anyhow, one of the more impressive segments on this team. I think that's true. I think there's enough elite-level skill position players out here for Florida State at wide receiver and tight end that against, again, lesser teams, they're not going to be able to keep up. There are going to be a lot of big plays, talented athletes in space, making guys miss and running away from people. It's the bigger games against the athletes that can line up with you that you're going to have to show you can block it up and that you can't get killed inside with the A-gap stuff. That's what you worry about with Clemson. It's what you worry about some with Miami. It's what you worry about with Boston College to an extent. Pressure up the gut, pressure up the middle. If you are able to, sustain a stalemate off to the outside, I feel like you can get a lot of things done. But interior is the area that I'll be concerned.
Interior is really, really important, but it's funny. I'm a little bit more concerned about tackle play because I think if the interior has an issue, as long as it's not health, Landon Dickerson can fortify that group.
Oh, yeah.
If he's not playing tackle.
Oh, yeah, you can get him in there.
So you have
four.
I think you have 4 or 5 options for those 3 jobs in the middle. And truthfully speaking, that means that it's about 4 options for the 2 guard slots because Eberle is going to be your center. But then you look and see what Brian Burns is doing to the tackles. And as you talked about yesterday, I think a lot of it has to do with how good Brian Burns is because his position coaches are very happy with what he's doing.
Very pleased.
And coordinators and head coach. But it also makes me wonder, against the grain of average, how is our tackle play going to be?
No, I've been worried about this all offseason, all year, all of last year, seemingly the year before, just a lot of years worrying about the offensive line. Now, to be sure, I agree with the sentiment that everybody seems to be concerned with their offensive line, no matter who it is they are rooting for. Everybody's worried about their offensive line, unless you're like the Dallas Cowboys, who not last year but the year before had one of the great offensive lines in the game. I mean, you know it when you have an elite offensive line, and we don't have that. You also know it when you have a good enough offensive line, and I'm not sure we have that. It is the biggest question mark. Maybe they prove me wrong. I leave it open and hope like hell that that's true. And we'll see how much, again, some of that can be mitigated by scheme. But I do know that there's a lot of talent at wide receiver and at running back, and we're good enough at quarterback, no matter who wins that job, to be a good football team. But I like what I'm hearing, especially because I've said before that I think Nooney Murray has to buy in, has to be a part of what's going on with this, has to get the most out of what he has, which is a lot of athleticism, a lot of talent that has never really strung it together for any length of consistency that I find acceptable, or a period of time that I find acceptable. And so let's listen to this Coach Kelly talking big picture stuff with the receivers and the veterans and the young guys. And at the end, he touches on Nooney Murray as well.
About 3 or 4 weeks ago, when we first merged the freshmen with the older guys, in the meeting room, we had a meeting just to kind of introduce everybody to each other and all. And it was a lot of tension in the room. So we began with that meeting, And then last night to see how having practices at different places, making them live together and stay together at all, where they gain a greater appreciation for each other. And to see how they have bonded, the older with the younger guys and all, that's more pleasing to me than anything.
Yeah, I get the sense that Coach is a straight shooter, and what you didn't hear there was the aforementioned Nooney Murray audio that I thought would be there, but that's because it was all cluttered and the mics were getting talked over and bumped into one another. So I'll just tell you what he said. He says that Nooney has looked really good. He's been limited, obviously, but his athleticism sets him apart from just about everybody else, and that he has bought in, and he's really pleased to see that because he knows that Nooney can lead in that way because he has experience on game day performing at an elite level, and his athleticism is, again, such that it's something the young guys look up to. So he's got all the tools. He's had big moments in big games. Now you got to buy in and showcase that so that others continue to follow and buy in as well.
I think that one of the more important developments for Nooney, and I get it, the cross-training is a thing, and it's almost like every camp the media covers it as this new term. And it's like, no, guys have always cross-trained. But I do think it's important for Nooney Murray at his size to be lining up everywhere at receiver because his size compared to a lot of others on the team, Terry and Gavin to name just two, it doesn't suggest he can play outside the way that you would want to draw it up. But if he's going to be that Swiss Army knife on the receiving core with the skill set that he does have, that tells me that the coaching staff is impressed enough with what he's doing in a preparation sense that they're going to trust him to be able to be put in several positions. We'll see if that means that he's actually going to block downfield for his teammates. So that was a bit of an issue here, especially the 2016 game before he catches the game-winning touchdown. There's a play where he takes the play off, plain and simple. But I do like, at least in terms of the way he's getting his reps, there is an indirect vote of confidence that the coaching staff is giving him by putting him in multiple situations. Because I don't think these guys are waiting around for somebody who's going to half-step. That's been clear since day one.
Well, it's also something that I love about getting new coaches is that you get a fresh start. If you were in the doghouse for reasons that we would deem ridiculous, you may have ended up there for a long period of time, and your talent could have been wasted for too long, in my eyes, under the old regime. Jimbo did really have hang-ups with that. He'd get mad at a guy, especially an offensive player, and there's a chance you're just not going to see the field again for a long period of time. New coaching staff comes in, they can't afford to do that. They got to evaluate everybody and move forward, so they truly open it up. But it works the other way, too. You could be a vet who Jimbo grew to trust time and again, no matter how many times you screwed it up or how many transgressions you had off the field or problems in the locker room you caused, and he kept coming back to you. If he thought you would run the route at least, or you understood the depth that you needed to get on your route, he would run you right back out there no matter how often he screamed at you. So you truly have a fresh start with a new staff. And they know what kind of player he can be. They also know what kind of player he hasn't been yet. And so it's laid out there, and the opportunity to start over, start anew, start fresh is one that you need veterans as well as the incoming class to take advantage of.
Well, and it should set up an interesting battle here as we get to the back half of fall camp and into actually, a game week, which is DJ Matthews is slowly recovering from his back issue. So is DJ going to be the number one option in the slot? And does that mean that Nooney is going to be one of the main options outside? And, again, I'm not saying that Nooney is limited in a sense that he could never line up outside. It's just if you're trying to draw it up and put the best athletes on the field all at the same time, you would think that Nooney could operate over the middle of the field and make, much slower defenders miss with regularity. But maybe it is that we have an embarrassment of riches situation here, and Nooney Murray's work ethic is one of the reasons that we have an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, and I really do believe that we are going to get our fair share of moments in which we're reflecting back on how it was certain guys didn't get to play at wide receiver. I do think I don't know about an embarrassment of riches, but I think we're pretty well loaded at receiver, especially if everybody gets out there.
If they're healthy,
and Nudie, yeah. I really think they're going to be we're going to be happy, and I want to embrace that. I want to, take the good with the bad and not overreact either way. I get it, and I don't want everything to be a compare and contrast every time we talk about this. I understand that too. But, there's already frustration from all of us who sees, who gets a look at Tamorrion Terry, and thinks, how could he not get on the field last year? DJ Matthews at the end of last year when he finally got onto the field after the debacle, basically, well, anyhow, he flashed right off the bat, and we're going to have those moments.
Being around the show in 2010 and doing a little bit of beat work, I believe there was a lot of comparisons. I'm not saying that we should have license to do it at any time we want, because at some point it's overkill.
It gets old, right?
But I can recall that we were constantly talking about the upgrades on defense and modernizing the program and scheme and recruiting.
Well, remember, obviously Bowden it had been pretty well established. We'd been passed by.
Sure. The backlash for that I don't think was as loud. I think people were just so starved to win because it had been so long.
Well, there was a long-standing stretch of poor play and not living up to what is a reasonable expectation. This is less so. Jimbo really didn't falter terribly until that final year. Prior to that, I thought 3 losses in back-to-back years were cause for concern. But when you win 29 in a row,
Well, correct. It was just its own unique issue, which is at the end of the previous administration, and I mean Bowden, you're questioning aptitude, energy. And, with this one, you're questioning effort. And where did the effort go?
Right.
From the staff. But at any rate, receiver was always a hot button issue. So when we talk about receivers, that's probably going to come up, especially if Terry is that game breaker. If he is 1,000-yard receiver or something along those lines.
I think he's going to be pretty damn special, man. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
sky things. Here's Cam Akers coming up talking about the offensive line. And the reason I bring this up is because every year we do this. We get excited about the potential for the offensive line to improve. And some years it's overstated how poor they are. Other years we don't talk about it enough. But obviously all eyes are on that specific segment of the team, and here's Cam Akers talking about them.
How many of your personal goals in terms of the numbers you've set for yourself are because you know you have a pretty good offensive line in front of you this season?
Definitely. Those guys, my offensive line get all the credit. Whatever I get, they get. They gotten a lot better from the spring, learning the new offense and the tempo. They've gotten a lot better, and you see that every day, and they're going to continue to get better.
I hope you're right, Cam, because just now Tom and I, while listening to the audio from warchant.com, went, okay, we'll see. We're used to shooting each other the, okay,
yeah,
curious look. Well, I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
Agreed. However, you know, if you watch the video, and they have videos of all these press conferences or media availabilities on War Chant, his eyes do light up a little bit as Cam Akers is talking about the offensive line. So to me, like, I don't want to be mean, but it almost looks like he's saying, you know what, they're actually doing a lot better. You know, almost in a in a backhanded compliment type way, which makes it to me more believable because he was behind a MASH unit in the spring.
Quick value picks, college football, William Hill. Here you go. You want to know what Florida State's at?
William Hill. That's my road dog right there.
Yeah? Like the old William Hill?
That's where I went when I was over in Britain, yeah.
Florida State is plus 3,300. That is value.
Okay. To win the whole damn thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Clemson's plus 600, Georgia plus 800, Ohio State plus 850, Michigan plus 1,400. Michigan. Okay. Washington plus 1,800. Like, I would supplant Washington and Michigan. I'd have that moved around. And with Ohio State's latest fiasco, we'll see. Wisconsin, Auburn, Penn State, Oklahoma, the teams all ahead of Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the same odds, according to William Hill, as Miami.
That's interesting. The Oklahoma one, and you know more about that situation than I do. But
good on defense. They're going to be better.
All right.
They're going to be a lot better on defense.
You've locked it in. You're on the record for
They're
that.
a lot better on defense. Listen, nobody in the Big 12 besides TCU really plays a lot of defense. So don't get me wrong. And Texas got better last year.
Texas got much better last year, yeah.
I think OU will make a Texas-like jump on defense. By the way, Texas plus 4,000.
Yeah, well, quarterback's a problem.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
It's a fun read right here. You may remember about a week ago when we told you about our trip to Chicago. Not the one I'm taking this week when I'm going to Chicago. But rather the one we're all going to take together. Well, some of us. Those of us on the Jeff Cameron Show, named Jeff and Tom, are going to take to Chicago to see Florida State Notre Dame game. And you can too, and it's going to be a good time. It's November the 10th, Florida State and Notre Dame in South Bend. It's easily the road trip experience of the year. Head to GameDayExcursions.com today and do what my boy T. Lizzie and I are doing. It's going to be good. Enjoying a little game day experience that includes transportation to and from Chicago to South Bend, an exclusive tailgate party stocked with beer, food, and entertainment for all those who sign up. That's really, I don't really need to say much more. It's Florida State, Notre Dame. We're going to go to Chicago. We're going to stay at the W. The rate is just $189 a night. It normally would be a lot more.
Well, the thing I like about it is that it gets you there 4.5 hours before kickoff, so you can use the tailgate as a home base.
Campus,
yeah, I'm going to go make sure I walk around that campus. When am I going to be back? I don't know.
Got to do it. Well, you'll be there in 2024.
Yeah, something like that.
GameDayExcursions.com. They have a hotel block for Knoll fans to book at the W Lakeshore downtown while you're at it. Rates, you know what I'll do, Tom? This is the sacrifice I'll make when I land in Chicago Friday morning. I'm going to go ahead and walk over to the W on Lakeshore because I'm staying right by there. So I will take a picture. Everybody can see just how great it's going to be.
Oh, there you go.
I'll do that for everybody.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do that. Maybe even go into the lobby and say, I'll see you guys soon.
You should go to the ESPN Chicago studios and do the same thing. See you guys in a couple months.
Yeah, I could do that.
Who the hell was that?
That's right. We have an arrangement, do we not?
We do.
All right. So that's a good deal. Be sure and use the promo code JCS at checkout to get $10 off of your order. That's promo code JCS at GameDayExcursions.com. You're going to want to do that. By the way, that bus with the mimosas.
Yep. And Bloody Marys. Start out your Saturday morning. That's what I'm talking about.
How old were you
Uh-oh.
when you stopped believing in the Tooth Fairy?
The Tooth Fairy?
I think, by the way, parents out there listening to the Jeff Cameron Show currently driving down the road, turn it down if you got young kids in the car who might believe in the, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got your chance now, like now.
Yeah, because I'm not going to commit to saying I don't believe in the Tooth Fairy.
Like, Tom and I still believe in the Tooth Fairy. All right, you got time now, quickly.
Okay, so
right,
when
now
I stopped believing in the Tooth Fairy.
But wasn't the Tooth Fairy the first of the make-believe characters out there that you stopped believing in?
No, it was one clean shot across the board.
All of them. You blew it all up.
Across the board.
You decided it's over.
It was when it was a Santa Claus thing. And I really hope they've turned the radio down by now.
We've given you ample opportunity here.
So my parents, the Santa Claus would write a note for the thanks for the cookies, and it was my mom's handwriting. It was on the freaking note from her desk. I was like, wow, how about that? That handwriting looks awfully familiar.
Right.
So the next year, I wanted to mail my wish list to Santa Claus without them reviewing it. So I just wanted the stamp and the envelope.
You're like, just let me do this here.
Right, and they wouldn't let me do it. And so
that was the first time that the light bulb went off there. You're going,
Right. They refused to let me mail it to Santa. I said, Santa will know. It's okay. Santa will know. That's all that matters.
Freaking Santa is the deal.
So that's when we had the discussion. And when they revealed it to me, then about 30 seconds later, I said, wait, so Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, and all that? And they said, yeah. And so I just told them thank you. And then that was that.
Well, I'm worried that that's exactly what's about to happen because, Bryce was looking for red herrings, and he's found them, and he's 10, and he's the one who, when he was 4, didn't believe in Santa Claus, was already at 4 telling me, I don't know, Dad.
If you've just turned the radio on with kids, turn it off.
Yeah. He would talk about how many things were misleading and didn't make a lot of sense. Why is he in the mall? There's a lot, he's got helpers. He's got a lot of helpers.
Armies of helpers.
Yeah. It's not just him. Helpers all over the world.
They're immortal.
And then he would say, oh, well, okay. He'd back off that ledge a little bit there. Okay. So he's got helpers. That's not the guy that's in the mall. No. That's just Frank. That's just a helper. Okay. I was like, he's probably a drunk. No, I didn't say that. But anyhow, so what we would do is there was ways to deflect.
His breath smells like candy. That's not candy, son. That's Scotch, Midland Scotch.
But he would, he was questioning those things early on. But as kids do, they begin to understand it behooves them to carry on with this facade, with this charade, just to understand, like, okay, if I get too militant about my stance on Santa Claus, things stop coming. Let's just back off on the Santa Claus thing here and let it go.
Oh, man, my sisters are 8, 11, and 13 years older than me, and they used to tell me what they wanted from Santa Claus so that they could leverage it on my parents.
That's smart.
Like, you know what I want from Santa? Saying it very loud to my parents. And
I hope Santa gets me a new dress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And sure
as
hell.
You know the one that we saw in the mall?
Right. Oh, I hope Santa does that, says the innocent me.
Right,
and my parents are going to, well,
here we go. You bastards.
Yeah.
Well, so this is, the reason I asked the question is Bryce yesterday, or 2 days ago is when it started. So it was a Sunday. He asked me a question about the tooth fairy randomly. And I said, you got a loose tooth? Because he hasn't lost one in a while. He had a stretch where he lost a ton, and then that was it. And he hasn't lost one in a while. You get a loose tooth? He goes, a little one is wiggling, nothing too bad. And he was almost like defensive about it. I go, let me feel it. He goes, don't worry about it. It's all right. It's got a little bit to do, go yet. Don't worry about it. I said, oh, well, what about the tooth fairy? And he asked me, had I ever seen the tooth fairy? And he was asking again, and I said, no, I've never seen the tooth fairy. I'd like to catch it. I'm always talking about catching things. I want to catch the Easter Bunny. I want to catch the tooth fairy. I want to catch these things. And he would say, well, I don't think you can catch it. And I was like, well, I'd like to. But then he just abruptly stopped the conversation. And I was in the kitchen, and he was in what we call the Florida room, watching a cartoon of some kind. And I was sitting there thinking, where that came from.
To what end in this fictional world would, if you catch the Easter Bunny or the Tooth Fairy, what would you do?
I don't know. Bryce asked me that once before. He said, would we kill it?
Right, exactly, because that sounds ominous.
No, I'd say, no, we can't kill it. You're not going to kill the Easter Bunny. But I would like to catch it and talk to him. Maybe hold him hostage for some more eggs or something. I don't know, but something like, something. But anyhow, so what? We're not going to cook the Easter Bunny, and we're not going to kill the Tooth Fairy. Maybe put it in a jar for a few seconds or something like that. Anyhow, so the story goes like this. He ends up on Sunday night later that day. He goes racing into the kitchen before bed, and I had been telling him he had been in the bathroom for 10 minutes, which is annoying as all get out, and I'm asking him to get out of there. But kids, they're stalling around dinner time. They're stalling around bedtime. They're always looking for a way to get out of having to do either a chore or go to bed. Those are the things they're trying to get out of. So finally, I was banging on the door. I go, hey, man, because the water had been running in there forever, and I'm just getting annoyed. I go, what? Hey, let's go. Let's go. And he, all right, I'm brushing my teeth. So I go back out to the TV room. I got baseball on. I'm going to go hug them goodnight. All of a sudden, I see him sprint.
Because you have baseball on.
Well, I got
Let's get these hugs over with. I've got baseball on.
Baseball is on. But I go back out there to watch baseball. He ends up, I just see a flash from the corner of my eye, and I look up, and there Bryce is sprinting into the kitchen. And I'm so annoyed. He's in his pajamas, and I'm like, what in the hell? Bryce, what are you doing? Nothing. You're not allowed to eat anything else, because he was talking about he was going to eat. He is just growing like a weed, and he eats incessantly. I go, no, that's it. You've already brushed your teeth. Stop doing it. And then he kind of sprints back out. I go, what are you doing? He goes, don't worry about it. And he leaves, and he runs back. Don't worry about it. And he runs down the hall. And at that point, I'm not worried about it. So he goes back there, and I told you I got a rule in my house. If you're reading, stay up all night. I don't care. If you're reading, if you're sitting in bed and reading, you can stay up as late as you want to. Now, they figured it out. After being 3 days worth of reading till midnight, they're exhausted. They just go to bed.
Yeah.
But at least they're reading, right?
Yeah, and they're reading good stuff.
They're reading good stuff. Yeah. No. So I go, what are you going to do? I yelled out something. He goes, I'm going to read. I go, okay. But he had successfully pulled the ruse now. See, this is what ends up happening. The next morning, yesterday, he comes out. And he goes, guess what? And I go, what?
Parent warning. This is adult conversation right here.
Yep, here you go.
Yep.
He goes, guess what? I go, what? And he pulls back his lip on the right side over here. He goes, lost a tooth yesterday. And I go, yeah? He goes, mm-hmm. Put it under my pillow last night. I'm in the kitchen cooking eggs. And I go, because it's the first day of school yesterday. I go, right? He goes, yeah, there's no money there. There's nothing. Tooth fairy didn't come at all. I go, well, did you put your name on it? Did you? I'm stuttering. I got nothing.
Yeah.
He had put it in the what he was doing in the kitchen was getting a little sandwich bag and putting it in there like we'd always done. And the reason he'd been in the bathroom for 10 minutes was he was spitting out blood trying to get that thing to stop bleeding so I wouldn't notice it. He pulled off the ruse, the experiment, and he found out for himself that the tooth fairy wasn't coming. Not without parents knowing that the tooth was missing. And so then I just said, well, I don't know what to tell you. But the best part about this was he's sitting on the couch saying all this, and I've got no words. I just go back to cooking the eggs. And Clark, his younger brother, goes, Bryce, you mean to tell me there's no tooth fairy? And I'm crushed for Clark. And Bryce turns to him, he goes, I'm not telling you nothing. I'm just telling you what happened. I'm not saying nothing, just telling you what happened. Clark is just, it's like he's in the mob. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. And then Clark is just staring off in the distance. Luckily, they both returned to the fact that they thought that indeed Santa Claus was very real. But the tooth fairy, we're done here.
What a sham.
What a sham.
That's ridiculous.
That tooth fairy. But I thought, I was half expecting that he was going to tell me, I'll tell you something else. I'm not so sure about this rabbit. I mean, I was expecting him to start prattling on because I was giving him the look.
While we're at it, huh?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, here we go.
Rabbit seems a little ridiculous, too.
Let's talk about this. A hopping rabbit dropping off eggs? What are we doing here?
And he could talk to us?
Yeah.
I've never seen a rabbit that can talk to you. Have you,
says
Clark?
He's sprinting down the driveway trying to catch this thing. Have you ever seen him? Yeah, always.
Remember when Dad told us that fib?
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Had to pick the spear back up. Knock the spear over. You can't have the spear rolling the whole show and then knock it over and not have it there for last segment.
Well, it looked like it was
starting to. I've still got it.
But it must have done during the break because I don't remember it. Did you kick it with your chair, or is Wheezy's computer cable down there?
No, Wheezy's. I am so proud of Wheezy. She has bounced back in a big way. I thought we were about to call it a day on Wheezy, and she has fired back. She was making all those sounds, you know. She was doing all that, and now she's like, I'm good. We had a little problem there for a while, maybe a little something logged in the throat there, but I'm okay. I've spit it out, and I'm good to go.
She's like that super fan on the old SNL skit, you know. Yeah. Bulls up.
Yeah, it's silly. She has figured it out. So
how many heart attacks is that for you?
I forgot
it's a baker's dozen.
Oh, buddy. Make sure you get yourself a My Pillow before I tell you about the baseball. Do it now. We ran into a mutual friend today who said she's been thinking about getting a My Pillow. I said, well, we go back a ways. What the hell are we doing here? Use my promo code.
I believe you said, use my damn code already.
Use the code. What are we doing? I provide this for you. Slept on my pillow last night. It was very comfortable. It works both to sleep on, but also prop you up as you're watching. I'm watching a Netflix special called I'm a Killer. Have you seen this yet?
No.
It's fantastic, and you would actually really like it. It is about people who are on death row. They interview them, and they kind of go back and look at the case, and they talk to the prosecution, they talk to the defense, they talk to the killer himself, they talk to the family, and they kind of document the events of the day. It is fantastic, Tom Wayne. You would love it. The first guy, just watch one episode tonight. It's season 1, episode 1. The very first guy that they document. I got tired of being in close confinement. They had me in CM or whatever they call it, and he goes, and I just decided I didn't want that anymore, and they got a better life on death row. So I figured the next guy they put in here with me, I'm just going to kill him. So they'll put me on death row. And I just said, and then he said, blank this, I'm going to do it. Well, they put a child molester in with him. So he looks at the camera and he goes, they put a child molester in with me, and I knew I was going to kill him. He goes, so I just determined that's what was going to happen. So one night the guard went by. I knew I had 25 minutes. But I'm not a coward. I wanted to let the guy know. So I walked over. He was sleeping, and I shook him. I told him, I'm going to tie you up and kill you. The guy said, you're not going to do neither. And I told him, yes, I am. And then I choked him to death. I was like, yes, you did, didn't you?
It took me about 15 seconds to wake him up and rouse him because he was sleeping on a My Pillow. And that boy was asleep.
That is why you are a pro. Click on the 4-pack special, enter the promo code 979ESPN, and remember this as the greatest My Pillow live read you have ever heard. You'll get 2 My Pillow premium pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows for half off. Go to mypillow.com, click on the 4-pack special, enter the promo code 979ESPN, or call 800-944-6596. Now, they may frown upon this particular My Pillow endorsement, but I'm not kidding you. They are comfortable pillows. So you get yourself one and use the promo code.
My Pillow. You never know what you're going to wake up to.
So he says this, though, and it was just a straightforward thing, but then it takes a total twist. You end up kind of liking this guy by the end. You're like, okay, all right, fair enough. Had a tough go in life. The thing is, it's like it always is with any of these. I mean, each case is different. Some of the guys, you're like, nope, they got to kill him. Other times you're like, it's a little iffy. He was driving the car. I don't know. You know, it's fascinating. But what I didn't realize, one of these is in Florida, of course.
Yeah.
And they talked to one of the nurses and one of the psychiatrists that are there, and they were saying that if you've got like 40 or 50 years and you're not getting out for 40 or 50 years, you're better off on death row because they're not going to kill you for a good 15 to 25 years in all likelihood. And you get your own place on death row. You get your own TV. You got your own thing. I mean, if you're in General Pop or if you're in the close, it's a much worse situation.
Either way, you're waiting to die in a sense.
Yeah. So what do I care? At least I get my own thing.
Speaking of capital punishment, yesterday after the show was over, Matthew and I watched a classic clip from Caddyshack with Judge Smales when he's got Danny in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the great lines he delivers, and I've forgotten about this, was, Danny, I've sent boys your age to the gas chambers because I felt I owed it to them.
I'd forgotten about that. The weird thing about that movie is it's funny. I never thought it's a little bit like Animal House for me. They're both great movies. Neither are, fall on your knees laughing.
Animal House not as I like Caddyshack way more. Animal House has
it's okay.
In this day and age with the Me Too stuff, are you kidding me?
Oh, well, that's any comedy from the 70s and 80s.
Holy
you can't. There's
smokes.
no.
Well, Revenge of the Nerds toes the line, but
No, it
this
doesn't
one
toe the
crosses it.
Have you see the movie Porky's? Porky's 1 and 2?
Sadly, that was on the Flicks channel, which was I could get as like an 11-year-old.
Every night it was on HBO, Showtime, one of those others. I mean, when you watch that now, they play into a ton of stereotypes across the board is what that is.
Right.
I mean, they have the trope, down perfectly. It's
reflecting on Revenge of the Nerds, no, it crosses the line in like 3 different scenes.
Oh, no, every line.
Oh, my.
Way across the line.
Yeah, that's true.
Think of the portrayal of...
Right. Well, you got voyeurism and you got,
all of it. Let's do some probables, my friend.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
What a good show. I think the last 30 minutes we didn't say a thing about sports. Wow. That's all changing. Soon it begins. 11 days.
I choked him.
He woke him up to tell me he was going to kill him. I thought, well, okay. He says, because I'm a straight shooter. But I wasn't going to kill the man while he was sleeping. I woke him up.
It's like
I shook him.
It's Bane. Search him. Then I will kill you.
Yeah, it's so cool because he says it to the guy, and he says the guy looked at him, and he's like, I'm going to tie you up and kill you. And he goes, you'll do neither. And he's like, yes, I will. Said it took him 4 minutes.
Last time I checked, I'm not 9 years old.
This was, well, I'll tell you this much. I can't. We can do a whole show about that particular episode. I've watched, Christy shakes her head. I go, babe, come here. Listen to this dude. She goes, good God, this is morbid. They're in death row. What do you want me to do? This is what they did. What do you want me to do? I'm not watching.
Watch a rerun of Cheers. Come on.
I said, this is so good. Listen to this riveting. He's telling this guy he's going to kill him. Just as a matter of fact. That's the kind of fun and games they have there when you're in close solitary confinement. They're not solitary. Close confinement, yeah.
It became solitary real quick.
Which is what he wanted. Then they document the lawyer that came to represent him, and he says, no, I can't argue. You say you want to be put on death row? And he says, yes, I'm not putting up a fight. You can execute me next month. I don't care. Put me on death row. So then he had to find a lawyer that was willing to do that. That they were like, well, so you don't want me to defend you at all? No, I did it. I killed him so I could go on death row. So it's awesome special. Some of it gets a little dark.
Oh, some of it gets dark, you don't say.
Some of it is funny, but some of it you go, oh, good Lord. Yeah, the third one. You wouldn't like the third one. Don't watch the third one. It involves things you don't like. The third one.
Some of it's going to get dark. I believe this is... That's the darkest My Pillow had in My Pillow history.
Oh, that's a good one, though. Boy, was he sleeping. Oh, Red Sox, Phillies, Rick Porcello, Nick Pivetta. We got the Mets and the Orioles, Vargas and Cashner. Rays, Yankees, Hunter Wood, J.A. Happ. Again, I'm telling you, Hunter Wood is out here killing vampires if they exist. Just go look at that guy. White Sox, Tigers, Lucas Giolito, and of course vampires don't exist. Blaine Hardy goes for the Tigers. We've got the Indians and the Reds, Corey Kluber, Sal Romano, Marlins and Braves. Not going to lie, Braves are probably the most fun team to watch in baseball. It just, they're exhilarating, man. They're fun.
I don't know. I think they're the most fun team to listen to in
right
baseball.
Right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Get that tonight, right, with the Marlins?
That's correct. Little 6:20 pregame action.
Beaten on the hapless Marlins. Trevor Richards, Anibal Sanchez. Do you know, and I do because I like to gamble, of the 25 doubleheaders previous to Saturday's doubleheader with the Red Sox sweeping, was it the Orioles? I don't remember who they swept, but yeah. Of the 25 doubleheaders on the year, 21 times the team that lost the first game won the second game. So if you knew of a doubleheader and the team lost the first game, you ran to the window and put your money on the team that lost. But the last 3 have been sweeps.
Huh.
So trends don't always.
Well, yeah, obviously I knew with the Braves
yesterday.
Well, the updates are running to all damn day. But you know that SI, Sports Illustrated, now has its own gambling handle?
I followed it minutes after you did, sir.
Okay, you saw it.
I saw you followed. I went, yes, sir, good call.
Apparently, DeGrom was plus 180 last night against the Yankees.
What?
Yep, they said that was the best value bet of the night.
You know how well the Braves are playing? By the middle of the by the time they got to the second game of the doubleheader, there was minus $3 money on the Braves. They were minus 350 or something. Come on, that's ridiculous.
Well, there have been clear signals that the Marlins are about done. They're ready to call it a day. Yeah.
D-backs, Rangers, Patrick Corbin, Giovanni Gallardo. We got the Rockies and the Astros, Herman Marquez and Justin Verlander. My Pirates taking on the Twins. Tell Jamie Twins are going to lose.
I will.
Jamison Taillon goes for the Buccos tonight. Jake Odorizzi goes for the Twins. Good matchup. Very good matchup. I'll be watching.
Out of context again, because that's this segment, last night's Better Call Saul had an incredible ending that you would appreciate.
Did it involve somebody waking somebody up to kill him?
It involved something that Breaking Bad would definitely have in one of their shock episodes.
Fantastic.
So you need to get on that.
I do need to get on that. You're right. Blue Jays, Royals, Ryan Borecki and Heath Philmeyer. We've got the Nats and the Cardinals, Gio Gonzalez, John Gant. Mariners, A's, James Paxton, Mike Farrs. Angels, Padres, Jaime Barea and Brett Kennedy. Giants, Dodgers, Andrew Suarez and Alex Wood. That's a look at those that shall reside on the bump. All right, that was fun. That was fun. We're getting there, kids. Just hang in there. You got to bear with us. 25th? Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Hawaii, Colorado State, right here.
On 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It'll probably be the most promoted live game of the year just because it's the first college football game.
Oh, man. I can't wait. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.